LoveLore Library. Chapter 938. What happened? Why can't you even get a corpse? Elder Yu's gloomy and hoarse voice came from the phone, making Chin Afu shudder. The police have been very strict recently. I can't act, Chin Afu said with a sad face. Now he could receive a call from Elder Yu almost every day. Every time the ringtone of the mobile phone sounded, Chin Afu would be shocked. However, he still couldn't not answer it. Chin Afu was very clear about Elder Yu's ability. If he refused to answer his call, Chin Afu couldn't imagine what terrible consequences it would bring. I will give you one more day. This is the last deadline. Elder Yu said coldly, if you can't get a corpse, you will use your own body as a sacrifice to my sinister voodoo. It was no wonder that Elder Yu was anxious. Now was the critical moment for the success or failure of sinister voodoo. If the dead bodies here couldn't be supplied, then the previous effort was likely to be wasted. Okay. I got it. Chin Afu hung up the phone weakly and squatted by the bed, gasping for breath. Chin Afu couldn't stand it anymore. He felt that he was going to collapse. Indeed, he had just learned the ecstasy technique that Elder Yu taught him. It was really refreshing for a long time. What a sense of accomplishment it was to scare people to death. But now, the police were looking for him all over the city. Chin Afu committing a crime at this time was undoubtedly tantamount to suicide. Chin Afu didn't want to do such a stupid thing. But even if he didn't want to, could Chin Afu refuse? Obviously, it was impossible. Chin Afu had no way. He could only plan in his heart. The things that Chin Fei and Yang Ming explained were actually dispensable. Even Chin Fei himself felt that it was a little superfluous. However, as a father, even if some words were superfluous, he had to say it. Only then would he be happy. Out of the study with Chin Fei, Chin Mengyan and Mother Chin were watching TV on the sofa. Chin Mengyan was nestled in her mother's arms. When she saw Yang Ming come out, she suddenly got up embarrassedly and blushed. Yang Ming, come and sit. Mother Chin greeted Yang Ming with a smile and pointed at the seat beside Chin Mengyan. Yang Ming smiled and nodded. Just as he was about to sit down, the phone in his pocket rang. Yang Ming took out his phone and found that it was an unfamiliar number. Hello. Yang Ming picked up the phone. Hello. Is this Mr. Yang? A woman's voice came from the other side of the phone. I am and you are. Yang Ming found the voice familiar, but he couldn't remember who it was. My surname is Li. I'm Miss Shou Jijia's caretaker. The person on the other side quickly introduced himself. There was some nervousness and excitement in his voice. Hello, Auntie Li, what's the matter? Yang Ming asked quickly. It's like this. Miss Shou, she. As Auntie Li spoke up to this point, perhaps because she was too agitated, she finished her sentence in one breath and ended up stuttering for a moment. What happened to Jijia? Yang Ming's heart tightened and he was a little anxious. Miss Shou. Miss Shou woke up. After Auntie Li finished speaking, she breathed a sigh of relief. What? Jijia woke up. Yang Ming exclaimed, you wait. I'm coming over now. Chen Mengyan also heard Yang Ming's phone call. Yang Ming hung up the phone and asked in a hurry, Yang Ming, did Shou Jijia wake up? N. Yang Ming nodded and said to Chen Mengyan, I'm going to the hospital now. Do you want to go with me? Of course, I'm going. Chen Mengyan had a good impression of Shou Jijia. At this time, when she heard the news that she woke up, she was very happy. As for whether there would be one more person to compete with her for Yang Ming after Shou Jijia woke up, she hadn't thought about this yet. Chen Fei also knew about Shou Jijia's matter. He also understood that Zhou Jiejia's injury and solving Wang Shifan's smuggling case were inseparable, so he said, Yang Ming, if she wakes up, thank her on behalf of Uncle Qin. My legs are inconvenient, so I won't be going. Yang Ming nodded and put on his clothes. He quickly went downstairs with Qin Mengyan and rushed to the hospital. Drive slowly. I don't want you to be hospitalized when Zhou Jiejie just woke up. Qin Mengyan saw that Yang Ming's car was driving very fast, so she reminded him. Don't worry. Yang Ming said so, but the speed of the car didn't slow down at all. However, Yang Ming had special abilities. He could directly observe whether there was a car in the distance, so he didn't have to worry about an emergency situation where he couldn't brake because the speed was too fast. There were fewer cars at night. Soon, they arrived at the Songjiang First People's Hospital. Yang Ming parked the car downstairs in the inpatient department where Zhou Jiejie was. He quickly went upstairs with Qin Mengyan. When they came to Zhou Jiejie's ward, they wanted to push the door and enter, but they were stopped by the nurse standing by the side. Sir, please don't go in. What's wrong? Yang Ming was somewhat inexplicable. The patient inside is my friend. Now the doctor is examining the patient. Please wait for a while. The nurse explained, because the patient just woke up, the doctor wants to conduct a comprehensive examination on her. As the nurse was talking, the doctor's voice came from the ward. Little Wang, you can let them in now. After listening to the doctor's words, the nurse said, you can go in, but don't make a lot of noise. The patient just woke up. Her mood may still be unstable. Okay, don't worry. Yang Ming nodded and entered the ward with Qin Mengyan. Auntie Li was standing by, anxiously watching Zhou Jiejie's bed surrounded by doctors who were doing a physical examination for her. When she saw Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan, she quickly said, Mr. Yang, Miss Qin, you are here. Auntie Li, how is Zhou Jiejie? Yang Ming asked quickly. The doctor is doing a physical examination for Miss Zhou. I haven't had time to ask yet, said Auntie Li. Yang Ming nodded and stood silently with Qin Mengyan. They looked at Zhou Jiejie, who had sat up on the bed not far away and was half leaning on the quilt. Zhou Jiejie's face was still very pale, but there was some spirit in her pair of big eyes, but more confusion. Next, I want to ask you some questions. Is there any problem? The doctor took the medical record book and sat opposite Zhou Jiejie. He asked patiently. Okay. Zhou Jiejie nodded. She didn't see Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan. She was blocked by several doctors inside and outside. What is your name? Asked the doctor. Zhou Jiejie, said Zhou Jiejie. How old are you? The doctor nodded and continued to ask. It seemed that the patient's brain tissue was not damaged. In the past, the doctor had seen many cases of patients with head injuries. After waking up, they obviously couldn't remember anything. 18 years old, said Zhou Jiejie. The doctor was stunned and looked at the case in his hand. It was clearly written as 19 years old. How did it become 18 years old here? Is this girl pretending to be young? But it can't be. 19 years old is a good age. Is there a need to pretend to be young? So he continued to ask, which year were you born? 1990. Zhou Jiejie was very puzzled. What's wrong? No, nothing. The doctor's brow wrinkled more and more. What year is this year? 1988. Zhou Jiejie was very puzzled. Why did the doctor ask some strange questions? The doctor took a deep breath, but he had encountered this situation before, so he could still keep calm. What grade are you in this year? Grade 12, said Zhou Jiejie. The doctor shook his head slightly and continued, well, I will ask you the last question. How did you get admitted to the hospital? Hospital. Zhou Jiejia listened to the doctor's question and suddenly froze. Then she frowned. After a long time, she said, "I don't know, maybe it was a cold." The doctor smiled bitterly, but he had a general understanding of Zhou Jiejia's situation. He stood up and walked outside. When he saw Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan, he said, "Are you the patient's family members and friends?" Yang Ming nodded quickly. Although he also wanted to see Zhou Jiejia now, after hearing Zhou Jiejia's strange answer, he began to worry. "Come out with me. I have something to tell you." After the doctor finished, he walked to the door of the ward. Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan followed the doctor out of the ward. Auntie Li also followed out, and then the door of the ward was gently closed. "Who?" In the room, Zhou Jiejia took a long breath and closed her eyes quietly. The doctor's question was really tricky. I almost couldn't cope with it. Out of the ward, the doctor took Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan to the doctor's room. He walked in and gestured to Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan to sit on the sofa first. "Doctor, Zhou Jiejia, she." Yang Ming sat down according to the doctor's instructions, but he couldn't wait to ask. The doctor waved his hand and motioned to Yang Ming not to be impatient. Then he opened Zhou Jiejia's case and said to Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan, after the patient woke up, whether it was the heart rate or the EEG, all indicators were normal. She has met the standards of a healthy person. She can be discharged, but, speaking of this, the doctor paused. This made Yang Ming very anxious. Yang Ming hated this kind of person who deliberately talked nonsense, but now, after all, he was asking for help, so he couldn't get angry. He had to say, "Is there any problem?" "There is a problem." The doctor took a sip of water and continued, "According to my observation, the patient may have amnesia." Chapter 939. Amnesia. Chen Mengyan and Yang Ming exclaimed at the same time. "Of course, this amnesia is different from the kind of amnesia you think." The doctor waved his hand and explained, "The patient doesn't forget everything now, but she only forgets a small part." "Forgets a small part?" Yang Ming frowned. "I can't even forget a small part of it. Who wants to have a blank part in my memory?" "Yes, in medicine, it is called partial amnesia. It is a relatively rare type of amnesia." The doctor said, "That is to say, the patient may forget the things in a certain period of time. But this is nothing. In the current situation, the patient's memory knowledge has stopped at a year ago. This memory does not have much impact on the patient's life. In fact, you don't have to be too anxious. The patient can wake up, it is already a blessing in the misfortune. Moreover, as far as I know, in many similar cases, if the patient has partial amnesia, then the memory will return to the childhood of 4 or 5 years old or 7 or 8 years old. As a result, it will have a great impact on the normal life of the patient. But the situation of Zhou Jiejia is slightly better. She is now in college, and her memory is still in the 3rd year of high school. Even if she goes to college, there will not be much of a problem." Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan listened to the doctor's words and nodded. Indeed, if it was really like what the doctor said, then it was really a blessing in the misfortune. "What is the reason for this?" Yang Ming asked, "Is there a possibility of recovery?" As for the reasons, there are many. Partial amnesia often forgets some more important things. The doctor explained, "The patient was injured by a gunshot. According to my guess, this is probably a very thrilling experience, so the patient may subconsciously choose to forget in the depths of her mind. It turned out to be like this." Yang Ming nodded. The doctor's explanation was very reasonable. In fact, it was indeed like this. Which girl would be calm after experiencing such a terrible experience? In fact, sometimes choosing to forget is not a bad thing. Of course, if you want to recover your memory, it is not completely impossible. The doctor continued, you can try to tell her what happened in the past year. Maybe it will wake her up. But I don't think it's necessary to do that if there's nothing particularly important. I understand. Thank you, doctor. Yang Ming thanked him. It's nothing. The patient can be discharged now. You should go through the discharge procedures as soon as possible, the doctor said. Yang Ming nodded and walked out of the doctor's room with Chen Mengyan. He pushed the door open and saw Zhou Jiejie sitting quietly on the bed, looking out of the window in a daze. Hearing the sound of the door opening, Zhou Jiejie turned around and looked at Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan. She was a little strange and surprised. You are, Yang Ming was stunned for a moment before he realized that Zhou Jiejie had amnesia. It was normal that she didn't recognize him and Chen Mengyan. Zhou Jiejie hadn't gone to college yet a year ago. Jiejie, we are. Yang Ming's words were interrupted before he finished. Zhou Jiejie's eyes suddenly flashed with a hint of surprise. She said excitedly, Yang Ming. You are Yang Ming. Why are you here? Ugh. Yang Ming had never encountered such a scene. Obviously, Zhou Jiejie recognized him, but how should I explain it? Yang Ming, I haven't seen you for a long time. Zhou Jiejie was still very happy and excited. How did you know that I was hospitalized? Jiejie, you really don't remember anything? Yang Ming asked with a bitter smile. Zhou Jiejie was somewhat inexplicable. She blinked her big watery eyes and replied blankly, what don't I remember? What happened? Jiejie, don't you remember? How did you get injured? How did you enter the hospital? And what you said to me before you got injured. Yang Ming hoped that Zhou Jiejie could remember something at once, but the result made him very disappointed. Zhou Jiejie still didn't know what to do. Injured? Am I injured? How did I get injured? Jiejie, in fact, this year is 2009, not 2008. You entered the hospital because of your injury, but after you woke up, your memory stopped at a year ago. The doctor said that you have localized amnesia. Yang Ming explained in one breath. Localized amnesia. Me? Zhou Jiejie pointed at herself and was shocked. She said, Yang Ming, is what you said true? Yang Ming nodded and sighed. Jiejie, you are not a high school student now, but a college student. We are all computer science students at Songjiang Industry University. We are classmates again, Zhou Jiejie was a little curious and a little excited. However, after the excitement, it turned into a deep worry. Yang Ming, is what you said true? Are we college classmates? Do I have amnesia now? Yang Ming didn't know how to explain it, but when he looked up, he found that there was today's newspaper on the table in the ward. It was probably bought by Auntie Li, so Yang Ming took the newspaper and put it in front of Zhou Jiejie. Jiejie, look at the date on the newspaper. It is now February 2009. Zhou Jiejie picked up the newspaper and looked at it. She put it down and bit her lower lip. No one knew what she was thinking. Seeing Zhou Jiejie's appearance, Chen Mengyan was also a little worried, so she persuaded, Jiejie, it is actually nothing. Isn't it just amnesia? It is not a big deal. Yang Ming and I will always be with you. Thank you. Zhou Jiejie smiled slightly after listening, but she asked with some embarrassment, you are, Chen Mengyan was stunned and remembered that she forgot to introduce herself. Zhou Jiejie could recognize Yang Ming because the two were junior high school classmates. It was not surprising. But I only met Zhou Jiejie after I went to college. No wonder Zhou Jiejie had no impression of me. How should I tell Zhou Jiejie? Chen Mengyan hesitated and gently sat next to Zhou Jiejie. She grabbed Chen Mingyan's small hand and pulled it into her own hand. She wanted to say something, but Yang Ming was next to her. Chen Mingyan was a little embarrassed, so she glared at Yang Ming. You go out first. Yang Ming was somewhat inexplicable by Chen Mingyan. Isn't it just a self-introduction? Why do you have to carry me? Yang Ming smiled bitterly and shook his head. He turned and left the ward and closed the door for Chen Mingyan. It would be a lie to say that Yang Ming was not curious. Anyway, one of the women in the room was already his woman, and the other one would be one sooner or later. So Yang Ming simply did not care much. He directly observed the situation in the ward with his special ability. Zhou Jijia was also somewhat inexplicable by Chen Mingyan. She looked at Chen Mingyan in amazement. Why did you drive Yang Ming out? There are some words that I don't want to say in front of him, so I let him go out. Chen Mingyan smiled. Ah. Zhou Jijia said after listening, you must be Yang Ming's girlfriend. When she saw Chen Mingyan and Yang Ming together and ordering him around, Zhou Jijia had this guess. Chen Mingyan said with a red face, Jijia, my name is Chen Mingyan. I am Yang Ming's girlfriend, oh. Zhou Jijia nodded, and a look of disappointment flashed across her face. However, Chen Mingyan was looking at Zhou Jijia at the moment. How could she not notice her expression? Chen Mingyan naturally knew Zhou Jijia's feelings for Yang Ming. When she saw her expression at the moment, she couldn't help but find it funny. Most probably, this little girl is jealous of me, right? Hee, I haven't finished yet. Chen Mingyan smiled and said, I am Yang Ming's girlfriend, and you are also Yang Ming's girlfriend. Ah! Zhou Jijia was shocked and almost jumped up. Me? Me too. Zhou Jijia was really a little surprised. She didn't expect Chen Mingyan to say this to her. Yeah, why? Don't you remember? Chen Mingyan suddenly whispered with a smile, you don't want to admit it because you have amnesia, right? I know that Yang Ming still has your diary. Mine. Diary. Zhou Jijia's face suddenly turned red. Originally, Zhou Jijia had been lying in the hospital for a while. She didn't see the sun, so her skin was whiter. When she was shy, the reaction on her face was obvious. The redness reached her neck. He, how did he have my diary? Zhou Jijia suddenly became stuttering. She couldn't even speak properly. Then I don't know. Maybe you gave it to him. Chen Mingyan smiled. Really? Zhou Jijia shook her head inexplicably. You just said that I am also Yang Ming's boyfriend. You too. Yeah, aren't you a little surprised? Chen Mingyan was very sympathetic to Zhou Jijia's experience. She used her own life to protect her lover. How much courage did this take? Just this point alone made Chen Mingyan extremely impressed. Moreover, Chen Mingyan had made up her mind before. She planned to accept Zhou Jijia from the bottom of her heart. When she woke up, she would tell her. However, what she didn't expect was that the situation had changed now. It was beyond Chen Mingyan's expectation. Since Zhou Jijia had forgotten the events of this year, that meant that she didn't recognize her at all. Chen Mingyan was a little anxious. What if Zhou Jijia bypassed her and went to pursue Yang Ming? Therefore, Chen Mingyan thought of this and couldn't wait to drive Yang Ming out. Then, she established an established fact for Zhou Jijia here. That was, now both of them were Yang Ming's girlfriends. It was like this in the past, and it would be like this in the future. Chapter 940. The reason why Chen Mingyan chose to finalize the matter in a hurry at this time was actually because of her selfishness. Undoubtedly, Zhou Jijia's love for Yang Ming was unquestionable. Compared to her own love for him, it was no less than hers. Chen Mengyan was very sure about this. Otherwise, who would ignore the danger of her life to block a shot for someone else? Even if Zhou Jijia had amnesia now, her love for Yang Ming would not change. She had heard Yang Ming vaguely mention the contents of Zhou Jijia's diary. From this point, it could be seen that Zhou Jijia had a deep love for Yang Ming since junior high school. Therefore, the time went back 1 year. This didn't have a big impact on the overall situation. Chen Mengyan didn't believe that Zhou Jijia would lose her love for Yang Ming because of partial amnesia. In fact, when Zhou Jijia saw Yang Ming, her joyful eyes couldn't be hidden from Chen Mengyan. Chen Mengyan knew Yang Ming's character very well. He was soft-hearted and not loyal. It was fine if he was soft-hearted, but he wasn't loyal. Chen Mengyan was particularly distressed, but there was no other way. Many things were due to a strange combination of circumstances. There was her own responsibility, and Yang Ming's responsibility. Chen Mengyan didn't want to blame anyone now, and she didn't want to pursue anyone's responsibility, but one thing was certain. That was, Zhou Jijia had done so much for Yang Ming. Yang Ming would never ignore Zhou Jijia. Whether it was touching or love, Yang Ming would accept this poor girl. Even Chen Mengyan herself felt heartache for Zhou Jijia, let alone Yang Ming. Since it had been expected, then Chen Mengyan couldn't do nothing. She already had the idea of accepting Zhou Jijia after she woke up, but now things had changed. What if Zhou Jijia didn't remember that she, Chen Mengyan, was Yang Ming's real girlfriend, and came to compete with her? This wasn't what Chen Mengyan wanted to see. An unknown Lanling had already made Chen Mengyan mentally and physically exhausted. There was also Suya, whose attitude wasn't very obvious. The only one who stood on the same front with her was Lin Jiyun. If Chen Mengyan wanted to gain an absolute status in the family, then she had to try to unite with those who could unite with her. Even if she couldn't unite, she wouldn't do bad things to herself. It was no wonder that Chen Mengyan would have such thoughts. After all, since ancient times, palace fights were the most dangerous and the most energy-consuming. Chen Mengyan didn't want to waste her youth on this. Therefore, instead of becoming a potential enemy with Zhou Jijia, it was better to show goodwill in advance. Anyway, she had lost her memory now. She could do whatever she wanted. Even if one day she remembered what happened in the past year, she wouldn't blame Chen Mengyan. She would only think that Chen Mengyan was thinking for her. Therefore, Chen Mengyan had the previous bold move. Zhou Jijia's eyes were wide open. She looked at Chen Mengyan without blinking. She seemed to still doubt what Chen Mengyan said. After a while, she said, "You mean, I am already Yang Ming's girlfriend?" Chen Mengyan smiled and nodded. "Yeah, but you don't have to worry too much. You and Yang Ming haven't been together for a long time. You don't have to worry about missing any beautiful moments. There will be opportunities in the future." "I see." Zhou Jijia nodded as if she understood. She said to Chen Mengyan, "Thank you, thank me." "Thank me for what?" Chen Mengyan was stunned. "Of course, thank you. Thank you for telling me this." Zhou Jijia's face was red. She said half-jokingly, "If it were someone else, they might want to kick me out after I lost my memory. How could it be?" Chen Mengyan smiled faintly. "Even if I think so, Yang Ming won't agree. He is most annoyed by his family members playing tricks on each other." Of course, Yang Ming was annoyed by the infighting in the harem, but Chen Mengyan said so. Wasn't it to give Zhou Jijia a precaution in advance? If Zhou Jijia really didn't follow the rules, Chen Mengyan would be very difficult to deal with. There would be trouble at that time. Zhou Jijia pursed her lips and smiled, but she didn't continue this topic. "Then, how did I get hospitalized?" When Zhou Jijia asked, Chen Mengyan hesitated. She blocked a shot for Yang Ming. What kind of credit was this? Chen Mengyan didn't understand Zhou Jijia's thoughts very well now, but after thinking about it, there was really no need to hide this from Zhou Jijia, so she said, at that time, Yang Ming was in danger. You blocked a shot for him, aww. Zhou Jijia exclaimed, blocked a shot. Yes, then you were hospitalized until now. This happened before the new year. Chen Mengyan said. It turns out that so many things happened. Zhou Jijia said with some emotion, Mengyan. And I will call you Sister Mengyan. Zhou Jijia's call of Sister Mengyan made Chen Mengyan's heart feel a lot more comfortable, and she didn't have a lot of concerns just now. Fortunately, she finally succeeded in uniting a sister. Subconsciously, Chen Mengyan always regarded Lan Ling as her competitor and enemy, which made Chen Mengyan somewhat worried. Suya's attitude wasn't very clear. Although the relationship between the two people was good on the surface, Chen Mengyan couldn't guarantee what Suya thought in her heart. Indeed, now she was a big star. She didn't have much time to accompany Yang Ming, so there was no need to compete with her. But what about the future? Suya would eventually fade out of the entertainment circle, right? At that time, if Suya really issued a signal to provoke and compete for favor, then it would be too late for Chen Mengyan to cry. Well, I seem to be older than you normally. Chen Mengyan didn't want Zhou Jijia to feel that she was at a disadvantage, so she smiled and nodded. Zhou Jijia also nodded and continued, Sister Mengyan, I'm not afraid that you will laugh at me. I still feel like I'm in a dream. You should also know that I used to like Yang Ming, but because of some misunderstandings, but I didn't expect that when I woke up, I had actually become Yang Ming's girlfriend. Now that I think about it, it's really amazing. Am I dreaming? Looking at Zhou Jijia's innocent and lovely appearance, Chen Mengyan couldn't help but find it funny. Another infatuated girl. However, am I not the same? How can I laugh? Our identities are the same. Isn't laughing at you equivalent to the pot calling the kettle black? Chen Mengyan shook her head and said, Yang Ming has forgiven you. I think Suya will also forgive you, Suya. After Zhou Jijia heard the name, she was obviously stunned. You also know Suya. This was obviously what Zhou Jijia didn't expect. Not only do I know her, but she is also. Chen Mengyan said until here. She paused and smiled. I heard from Yang Ming that she also came to see you. She probably forgave you a long time ago, right? Ah. Zhou Jijia felt that her brain seemed to be short-circuited. It wasn't working well. How did so many things happen? Suya is already back. She has also become Yang Ming's girlfriend. Zhou Jijia felt that it was a bit messy. Suya also came to see me. She also forgave me. Wait. Zhou Jijia suddenly remembered that when she was in a coma, she seemed to have a dream. She really dreamed that someone came to see her. That person seemed to be Suya, but she couldn't see her, but it was probably her voice. At that time, Suya had indeed forgiven her. Zhou Jijia thought that it was her hallucination. Could it be that such a thing really happened? Sister Mengyan, is what you said true? When Zhou Jijia heard that Suya had forgiven her, she was very excited. It was as if a big stone had been removed, and she suddenly felt relaxed all over. Of course, it's true. Why would I lie to you? Chen Mengyan smiled and said, you actually don't have to think about anything. Take care of yourself. There are still some days before school starts. This time is enough for you to adapt. Okay. Zhou Jijia nodded. Then, does my mother know my situation? Your mother knows that you were injured and hospitalized, but you just woke up, so she probably doesn't know yet. Chen Mengyan said, I will ask Yang Ming to contact your mother in a while. Oh, then can I be discharged from the hospital? Zhou Jiejia nodded slightly and asked. Yeah, Yang Ming may have gone to do the discharge procedures for you. We can go home in a while. Chen Mengyan said. We go home. Zhou Jiejia looked at Chen Mengyan in amazement. She was a little overwhelmed. How can there be a home? And it's us. Yeah, it's our home with Yang Ming. Chen Mengyan said with a smile. Although Chen Mengyan had some petty thoughts and jealousy, her weakness was her kindness. When she saw Zhou Jiejia was so infatuated that she was willing to give up her life for Yang Ming, Chen Mengyan completely accepted this girl. Now, Zhou Jiejia had amnesia. Chen Mengyan had some sympathy. After all, these were the consequences of Yang Ming. So from just now, Chen Mengyan worked hard to turn herself into the image of a kind sister. If Chen Mengyan said that she was also Yang Ming's girlfriend, Zhou Jiejia could still accept it. After all, Yang Ming also promised her at that time. However, when it came to home, Zhou Jiejia was really unbelievable. A home of 3 people? What the hell is this? Could it be that I really have amnesia? What important things have I forgotten? But, it seems that there is nothing. Zhou Jiejia's brows were twisted together. She tried to recall the previous things, but she found that there was no memory of 3 people living together. Did I cross over? Or did the people around me cross over? Zhou Jiejia was really a little confused. Chapter 941. In fact, many readers had probably guessed that our computer genius hacker and the 6th beauty protagonist, Zhou Jiejia, actually did not have amnesia. When Zhou Jiejia woke up, she remembered everything that happened before, including the moment of life and death and Yang Ming's promise to her. Thinking of this, Zhou Jiejia's heart was full of sweetness. The long-awaited love had finally descended upon him. It is said that one who survives a great disaster is blessed. It seems that this is true. However, in addition to the excitement, other worries followed one after another. Zhou Jiejia was the same as other girls. She was the kind of girl who liked to let her imagination run wild. The more she thought about it, the more she liked to complicate things, and the more she liked to be overcautious. Before this, Zhou Jiejia considered Yang Ming's attitude. After calming down, she thought of Chen Mengyan. Even if Yang Ming gave her a promise, what if Chen Mengyan did not agree? Thinking of this, Zhou Jiejia's good mood suddenly fell into an ice cellar. Yes, this was a very critical problem. Although Zhou Jiejia was not willing to think about it, she had to think about it. The relationship between Zhou Jiejia and Chen Mengyan was not very good. She also heard a little about Chen Mengyan's character. So she was very afraid. She was afraid that when she saw Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan in a while, Chen Mengyan would directly reject Yang Ming's previous promise. After all, Chen Mengyan was Yang Ming's first girlfriend. What was she? Although she took a bullet for Yang Ming, it was not necessary to use feelings to repay, right? Therefore, Zhou Jiejia was very afraid. She was afraid that her illusion would be broken. She was afraid that Chen Mengyan would heartlessly reject her. Instead of facing the endless embarrassment, it was better to simply pretend that she didn't know anything. If Yang Ming really accepted her from the heart, it didn't matter whether she remembered the previous promise. Although Zhou Jiejia liked Yang Ming very much, she didn't want the kind of love that repaid kindness. Therefore, Zhou Jiejia made a bold decision to pretend to have amnesia. In the past, he had seen in a TV series called Founding Era that there was a type of amnesia called partial amnesia. It meant that one would forget everything that had happened in a certain period of time, but they would still be able to remember other things in the past. Zhou Jiejia felt that this kind of amnesia was the most suitable for her. So, after making a decision, she began to change her memory back to a year ago and answered a few questions from the doctor very cooperatively. Anyway, the human brain was the most complicated. Zhou Jiejie didn't believe that anyone could check whether a person had amnesia or not. There were two benefits to doing this. First, he could test what kind of attitude Yang Ming had towards him. The two had a lot of unpleasantness before, but after Zhou Jiejie was injured, the relationship between the two eased a lot. Especially after the sudden collapse of the Wang family, Mother Zhou began to feel a little fortunate that she didn't insist on marrying into the Wang family. Otherwise, wouldn't her daughter's happiness be over? Now, all the original Wang's enterprises were planned under Mingyang Entertainment, and Mingyang Entertainment and Mingyang Heavy Industry had more or less some connections. The current helmsman of Mingyang Heavy Industry was Yang Ming's father, Yang Dehai. This made Mother Zhou surprised and somewhat gratified. After all, Mother Zhou also wanted Zhou Jiejie to find a boyfriend with a family background. Now Yang Ming just happened to meet this condition. The cooperation project between Mother Zhou's enterprise and the original Wang's group was also taken over by Yang Ming. Mother Zhou couldn't be as cold to Yang Ming as before. Yang Ming, what's wrong? Why are you calling Auntie so late? Mother Zhou's tone was very polite. Auntie Hua, Jiejie woke up. Yang Ming said. Ah. What? Jiejie woke up. After Mother Zhou heard it, she suddenly exclaimed, Really? Where is Jiejie? I want to talk to her. Jiejie is in the ward upstairs. I am now going through the discharge procedures for her. I will ask her to call you in a while. Yang Ming said. Okay. Mother Zhou said quickly, then I will wait for the call. Back in the ward upstairs, Chen Mengyan and Zhou Jiejie had already finished talking. The two were sitting together intimately and chatting about their daily lives. Whether it was real intimacy or fake intimacy, Yang Ming's heart was still very comfortable when he saw it. Originally, when Zhou Jiejie woke up, Yang Ming was happy and worried about Chen Mengyan's attitude, but he didn't expect that Chen Mengyan had already settled everything before him. Although he and Zhou Jiejie didn't really spend much time together, and most of his understanding of Zhou Jiejie came from her diary, Yang Ming had fallen in love with this somewhat stubborn and even somewhat unhesitant little girl. Perhaps, Chen Mengyan was right. Feelings could be cultivated slowly. Since he and Zhou Jiejie had been together for a long time, the relationship between the two people would naturally be harmonious. After knocking on the door, Yang Ming also put away his special ability. Chen Mengyan's voice came from inside, Please come in. Yang Ming pushed the door in and saw that Chen Mengyan was still sitting by Zhou Jiejie's bed, so he asked with a smile, What are you talking about? Nothing. Chen Mengyan said and winked at Yang Ming, indicating that he shouldn't talk too much. With what he had seen and heard before, how could Yang Ming not understand Chen Mengyan's meaning? She must be afraid that he would say something wrong. Mr. Yang, Miss Zhou has already woken up. You see. Auntie Li's duty was to take care of Zhou Jiejie, but now that Zhou Jiejie had woken up, there was no need for her to stay. Auntie Li, you have worked hard during this time. I will pay you the salary later. Yang Ming nodded and thanked her. We agreed on 2,000 yuan a month, but you did a good job. I will give you 3,000 yuan. No need. Auntie Li was a little happy, but she refused. Auntie Li still understood the principle of not receiving a reward without any effort. She didn't want to take the money for nothing. It's okay. It's settled then. As Yang Ming said this, he took out his wallet, counted out 3,000 yuan, and handed it to Auntie Li. As for why Yang Ming only gave 1,000 yuan more, it was also after careful consideration. Yang Ming was rich, but he couldn't disturb the normal market price because of money. The price of hospital care was 2,000 yuan. Auntie Li did a better job, so he just gave 1,000 yuan more. If he gave too much, not only would Auntie Li not dare to take it, but it would also seem that he wasn't rewarding her but helping her. Thank you, Mr. Yang. Auntie Li saw that Yang Ming insisted, so she accepted the money and thanked him. I am going to pack my things. Why are you packing your things? You have to go with us in a while. Yang Ming glanced at Auntie Li and smiled. It seemed that Auntie Li misunderstood that her work was done and she had to leave. Ah. Isn't Miss Zhou already awake? Auntie Li asked, baffled. This is the case. We are all students. We don't have much time to do housework. I want to continue to invite Auntie Li to our house. The monthly salary is still 2,000 yuan. If you do well, there is an additional bonus of 1,000 yuan. Yang Ming explained, after all, Jie just woke up. Her body is still very weak. She needs someone to take care of her. Chapter 942. Ah. Auntie Li was flattered. After all, it was not easy to find a stable job in today's society. Looking at Yang Ming's intention, he wanted to hire her for a long time. That's great. I will help you pack up your things. Auntie Li nodded. Yang Ming nodded and let Auntie Li do her work. How do you feel? Yang Ming smiled and walked over to Zhou Jie. Zhou Jie was a little embarrassed. After all, she became Yang Ming's girlfriend in a daze. Even she didn't understand how it happened. She nodded slightly and said, very good. The discharge procedures have been completed. Let's go back. After all, it's not as convenient as home in the hospital, said Yang Ming. Zhou Jie still nodded. Her face was slightly red, and she let Yang Ming arrange it. Chen Mengyan, you help Jie put on her clothes. Yang Ming glanced at the hospital gown on Zhou Jie and said. No need. I can do it myself. Zhou Jie shook her head and was a little embarrassed. Although I just woke up and am still a little dizzy, these things are not a problem. Come on. I will help you. Chen Mengyan began to help Zhou Jie without any explanation. Hey. Jie, where is your coat? Zhou Jie wore a warm woolen coat inside, but she only wore a layer of hospital gown on the outside. She could just put on her clothes and leave after taking it off. However, Chen Mengyan looked around for a long time and didn't find Zhou Jie's coat. Ah, Miss Chen, Miss Zhou doesn't have a coat. Auntie Li quickly came over and said, Miss Zhou's original coat was stained with blood. It was thrown away, and she didn't buy it later. I will buy 2 clothes. Yang Ming looked at his watch. Although it was quite late, there should still be stores open. Okay, then we will wait for you in the hospital. Chen Mengyan responded, I will accompany Jie here. Right, Jie, your mother asked you to call her. Yang Ming remembered Mother Zhou's instruction just now. Ah. Zhou Jie was shocked. She remembered that after she woke up, she hadn't contacted her mother yet. Just now, she was confused by Chen Mengyan. She couldn't tell who transmigrated, so she forgot about this matter. Now, after listening to Yang Ming, she remembered to inform her mother. Okay, I will call you in a while. When Zhou Jie saw Yang Ming, she was still very embarrassed. It couldn't be helped. Chen Mengyan said that she was living with Yang Ming. When it came to cohabitation before marriage, Zhou Jie didn't have any conflict. However, Zhou Jie didn't understand when she became so bold. She lived with Chen Mengyan and Yang Ming. Moreover, Chen Mengyan actually agreed to let her live with them. This was a bit incredible. Therefore, Zhou Jie was still very firm at this moment. Did she transmigrate, or did she really lose her memory? After Yang Ming finished speaking, he left the ward and drove in the direction of the commercial area. Xinhing department store should not be closed yet. Sure enough, when he came to Xinhing department store, it was still brightly lit, and people were coming and going. Yang Ming parked the car in the underground parking lot of Xinhing department store and then quickly went upstairs. Yang Ming didn't come to the mall. Zhou Jiejia and Chen Mengyan were still waiting for him in the hospital. He went directly to the women's clothing store upstairs. He simply found a store and walked in. Anyway, it was to be worn temporarily. Yang Ming didn't need to pick too carefully. It was fine as long as it looked passable. The most important thing was to keep warm. Yang Ming was mainly looking for down jackets, so when he entered the door, he walked over to the down jackets. Hey! Seeing a figure in front of him, Yang Ming was obviously stunned. Did I meet an acquaintance? At this time, Wang Xiaoyan also noticed that someone was looking at her. She looked up and saw Yang Ming. However, when she saw that it was Yang Ming, her face suddenly became gloomy. After returning from Macau, Wang Xiaoyan found that a lot of roses were piled at the door of her house. Because it was winter, the roses were frozen into ice roses, but they didn't wither. They were still beautiful. The roses were beautiful, but Wang Xiaoyan wasn't in the mood to appreciate them at all. She didn't even have to think about it. It must be that guy, Yang Ming, who sent it. Wang Xiaoyan was so angry. She really didn't understand what was wrong with this guy, Yang Ming. He sent me flowers all day long. He is really a playboy. So at this moment, when she accidentally saw Yang Ming in the store, she naturally wouldn't give him a good face. Miss Wang, what a coincidence. After Yang Ming said this, he realized that this was Song Jiang, and he had restored his original appearance. Wang Xiaoyan wouldn't recognize him at all. When Wang Xiaoyan heard Yang Ming call her Miss Wang, she was a little annoyed. She thought that Yang Ming was deliberately exaggerating. She said coldly, I don't think it is a coincidence at all. Why does Yang Ming feel that this chick's attitude towards me is a bit wrong? Isn't it because I disturbed her rest when I was renovating the house? Is it necessary to be like this? It seems that I owe her 10 billion. I have already apologized for the renovation last time. We will be neighbors in the future. Don't be angry anymore, okay? Yang Ming's words were considered to be pleasant. After knowing the identity of Wang Xiaoyan, Yang Ming subconsciously wanted to get close to her. After all, it was related to the Black Widow assassin group. If Yang Ming wanted to figure out the truth, he had to start with Wang Xiaoyan. Neighbor. I hope that you will move away tomorrow and don't bother me again. Wang Xiaoyan glared at Yang Ming and said angrily. Wang Xiaoyan heard him talk about the renovation again, but he didn't mention anything about sending her flowers. She felt that Yang Ming was unreliable. I really feel sorry for Zhao Ying. How did she like such a guy? Hypocrite, shameless. If it weren't because Wang Xiaoyan was afraid of exposing her identity, and she was afraid that Zhao Ying would be sad, Wang Xiaoyan would have already dealt with Yang Ming. However, if she knew that Yang Ming was the Lu Lei she met in Macau, then it was not certain who would deal with who at that time. I say, you can't be so stingy, right? Yang Ming was a little helpless. It was said that women were narrow-minded, and this Wang Xiaoyan was a typical example of narrow-mindedness. Stingy. Humph, Wang Xiaoyan snorted. What have you done? Don't you know it yourself? What have I done? Yang Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How about this? I will pay for the clothes you bought today as an apology. Do I need you to buy them for me? You should go. I don't want to see you. After listening to Yang Ming's words, Wang Xiaoyan frowned. What's the matter with Yang Ming? He wants to please me and buy clothes for me, but he still has to find an excuse. I have never seen someone as shameless as him. Therefore, Wang Xiaoyan's voice was obviously louder. Originally, Wang Xiaoyan's mood had recovered a lot in the past 2 days. She swept away the unhappiness in Macau. Today, she came out to shop and wanted to relax, but she didn't expect to meet this guy, Yang Ming. Wang Xiaoyan's voice suddenly attracted a lot of attention. The customers who were shopping for clothes in the store looked over, which made Yang Ming a little embarrassed. It seemed that he bullied Wang Xiaoyan. At this time, the security guard of the store also noticed the situation here and came over. "Miss, what's the matter? Do you need help?" When the security guard saw Wang Xiaoyan's angry look, he thought that she was harassed or something. Wang Xiaoyan was just about to speak, but she heard Yang Ming say, "It's nothing. I quarreled with my girlfriend. She wanted to buy clothes, but I didn't want to buy, so she was angry." "Hey!" Wang Xiaoyan's eyes widened. She stared at Yang Ming fiercely with a murderous look. Isn't this guy too shameless? Who is his girlfriend? And, what does he mean? What does he mean by getting angry because I want to buy clothes, but I don't buy it for you? Am I that kind of person? It seems like I'm that kind of unreasonable woman. Oh. The security guard nodded with an understanding look, then turned and walked away. Wang Xiaoyan was so angry. When Yang Ming was in Macau, he was already familiar with pretending to be a couple with Wang Xiaoyan, so at this moment, he didn't even hesitate and said those words. Wang Xiaoyan's lungs were about to explode, but thinking that this was a public place, she had to endure it. She thought about how to teach Yang Ming a lesson. This guy is really outrageous. Wang Xiaoyan thought, if I don't scare Yang Ming this time, I will have trouble in the future. Yang Ming didn't care. He took a pink down jacket from the shelf. It seemed that Zhou Jiejie should be able to wear it. Then he looked at the clothes in Wang Xiaoyan's hands and smiled. "Let's go. Let's pay the bill." Wang Xiaoyan glanced at the down jacket in Yang Ming's hands and said with some displeasure, "What clothes are you holding? I don't want it." It was no wonder that Wang Xiaoyan would think so. Yang Ming came to the mall alone, and there were no other women around him. So when Yang Ming, a man, was holding women's clothing at this moment, Wang Xiaoyan subconsciously thought that Yang Ming wanted to give it to her. "Who wants to give it to you?" Yang Ming was stunned, then he smiled and said, "I want to buy it for someone else." "Ah!" Wang Xiaoyan suddenly blushed. She scolded Yang Ming in her heart. "Kid, you're good. You're really good. Just you wait. Women are sometimes so strange. It's not right to buy things for them, but it's also not right to not buy them." Yang Ming looked at Wang Xiaoyan's angry look and said helplessly, "How about I buy the same thing for you?" "Buy your head," Wang Xiaoyan said with hatred. Yang Ming shook his head. "Buy my head. Sorry, this is really not for sale." He put the selected down jacket on the cashier and pointed to the clothes in Wang Xiaoyan's hands and said to the cashier, "How much is the total?" Chapter 943. Who wants you to pay the bill? Wang Xiaoyan snorted coldly. Apparently, she didn't appreciate it at all. However, the cashier lady thought that the young couple was at odds, so she didn't care. She listed the price and said, "Sir, the total is 3,648 yuan. Swipe the card." Yang Ming handed over the prepared bank card, and the cashier lady quickly took it. Wang Xiaoyan, who was about to take out the money, was very angry. Besides, even if she paid the bill, Wang Xiaoyan didn't know how much she should pay because there was still a piece of Yang Ming's clothes inside. The cashier lady quickly swiped the card, then handed the bill to Yang Ming to sign. After that, she handed them a few paper bags and asked them to pack the clothes. Let's go. Yang Ming gave the big paper bag to Wang Xiaoyan. He used a small one and put the down jacket he bought for Zhou Jiejia in it. Wang Xiaoyan didn't speak. She took the paper bag and put her clothes in it. Originally, Wang Xiaoyan didn't want this dress, but because the clothes were chosen by herself, and there was only one piece left, it was her favorite style. If she didn't want it today, it would probably be bought by others tomorrow. Therefore, although Wang Xiaoyan was angry, she couldn't help it. She was going to find Yang Ming after going out. Outside the store, Wang Xiaoyan scolded Yang Ming coldly, "You wait." "What's the matter?" Yang Ming was stunned. He stopped and turned around. "Yang Ming, can we talk about it in a while?" Wang Xiaoyan glared at Yang Ming. "Talk." "Okay." Yang Ming also wanted to talk to Wang Xiaoyan. He was worried that there was no entry point, so he nodded happily. The two left Xinhing department store and came to the parking lot. Yang Ming said, "Let's talk in my car. It's cold outside." Wang Xiaoyan hesitated for a moment before saying, "All right, lead the way." Although she didn't want to go, she thought that Yang Ming couldn't do anything to her. If he dared to do anything to her, Wang Xiaoyan decided to directly kill Yang Ming or give him an unforgettable lesson. Wang Xiaoyan was still very confident in her skills. Yang Ming nodded and opened the lock of the BMW with the remote control. He opened the passenger door and let Wang Xiaoyan get in first. After Wang Xiaoyan got in the car, Yang Ming closed the door and got into the driver's seat. "What do you want to talk about?" Yang Ming smiled and turned on the heater in the car. "Yang Ming, what are you going to do?" Wang Xiaoyan said coldly, "Don't you think you are a bit too shameless?" "Shameless? How am I shameless?" Yang Ming didn't feel that he had anything to do with being shameless. Wasn't it just that he disturbed her rest during the renovation? "I have already apologized." What else does she want? Why is this girl so narrow-minded? You. Wang Xiaoyan saw that Yang Ming didn't admit it. She was a little angry. "You know what you have done." "I said, didn't I just disturb your rest during the renovation? Do you have to be like this?" Yang Ming was also a little annoyed. He couldn't just grab a little pigtail and not let it go, right? Listening to Yang Ming talk about the renovation again, Wang Xiaoyan was even angrier. If he obediently admitted his mistake, she would have let it go. But now, Wang Xiaoyan was about to explode. She couldn't care less. She said angrily, "Okay, Yang Ming. Don't you want to get me? Then I'll give you a legitimate chance." "Get you?" Yang Ming was stunned. However, Yang Ming's stunned expression was regarded by Wang Xiaoyan as a pervert. She was even more disgusted. "Let's have a competition. If you can beat me, then I, Wang Xiaoyan, will promise to be your girlfriend. Even a lover is fine." "Hey!" Yang Ming looked at Wang Xiaoyan blankly. He didn't know what she was talking about. "Humph, don't be complacent. If you can't beat me, then you will be in trouble." When Wang Xiaoyan saw Yang Ming's blank look, she thought that he was too happy. She said coldly, "If you lose, you will move out of the house next to me and never appear in front of me again." Complacent? Am I complacent? Yang Ming smiled bitterly and touched his chin. "What is this? You want to be my girlfriend, but I don't want to. Although you seem to have a hot temper and a good figure, I already have a lot of wives. I don't need you." However, Yang Ming now wanted to establish a friendship with Wang Xiaoyan as soon as possible, whether it was using the face of illusion or the current appearance. Because only by using two different identities, Wang Xiaoyan would not be on guard. When she talked to the two separately, she might reveal a flaw. What if I don't compete? Asked Yang Ming. Don't compete. If you don't compete, even if you lose, you have to move out. Wang Xiaoyan looked at Yang Ming contemptuously. You are a big man. Why are you so timid? I am timid. Yang Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry. When you were about to be killed in Macau, who saved you? Now you are so arrogant. You really don't feel pain when you talk. Moreover, Yang Ming had never seen such an overbearing chick. You have to move out even if you don't compete. Isn't this too much? Do you think I am a soft persimmon that you can pinch whenever you want? Thinking of this, Yang Ming was a little annoyed. Then let's compete. What do you want to compete? Do you dare to compete in fighting? Wang Xiaoyan saw that Yang Ming agreed, and there was a smile on her mouth. Why wouldn't I dare? Yang Ming thought, fighting. I am the ancestor of fighting. Do you think you are very powerful? However, Wang Xiaoyan didn't think so. Although she also admitted that Yang Ming had some strength, it was just a small fight between punks. It couldn't be done in the Grand Hall. Wang Xiaoyan believed that as long as she used her killer moves, wouldn't Yang Ming be ravaged. Okay, then it's a deal. You can't go back on your word. Wang Xiaoyan was afraid that Yang Ming would go back on his word, so she said quickly. It's a deal. Whoever goes back on his word is a bastard. Yang Ming said, you just wash up and wait for me in bed. To be honest, Yang Ming was also a little annoyed with Wang Xiaoyan. Isn't it just a renovation that disturbed your rest? It's just a small matter, and you still don't want to let it go. You still want to duel with me? Well, I will satisfy you. Do you think that you are a small assassin and you have a chance to win? You also gave a very tempting condition. Then, you are digging a hole and waiting for yourself to jump into it. Listening to the obscenities in Yang Ming's mouth, Wang Xiaoyan was very upset, but since there was already a way to solve Yang Ming, then Wang Xiaoyan would temporarily endure. Okay, when is it? Asked Wang Xiaoyan. You say it. Yang Ming didn't care. Ladies first. Then, in a while. Wang Xiaoyan wanted to end it quickly. She didn't want to wait for a moment. In a while. I'm afraid it won't work. Yang Ming shook his head. Why? Are you scared? Do you still need to prepare? Wang Xiaoyan ridiculed. That's not it. A friend of mine is discharged from the hospital today. I just came to buy a coat for her. I will send her home later. Yang Ming said. That's fine. I will wait for you. When will it end? Wang Xiaoyan wanted to solve it as soon as possible so that Yang Ming wouldn't regret it in the future. Even if you want to be my lover, you don't have to be so anxious, right? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. When did I want to be your lover? Wang Xiaoyan was finally anxious. Don't think too much. I just want to teach you a lesson. Teach me a lesson. Then I can't be anxious. If I am anxious, am I a fool? Why would I send you to teach me a lesson? Yang Ming said with a smile, after I go home, I will take a shower and sleep. Then, I will eat something delicious. Yang Ming, you and I are irreconcilable. Wang Xiaoyan snorted and got out of the car. Then, she left a sentence, at 2:00 in the morning, I will wait for you. If you don't come, I will tear down your house. Damn, more overbearing than me. This chick has the potential to be in the underworld. She is so ruthless. She is a talent. Hey. Wait. Yang Ming suddenly remembered. This chick only said 2:00 in the morning. She didn't say the location. Where was he supposed to find her now? What else? Wang Xiaoyan turned back. She was afraid that Yang Ming would regret it. You haven't said the location. Where can I find you? Asked Yang Ming. I am at home. You can come to my house to find me. Wang Xiaoyan said after listening. Seeing that Yang Ming wasn't going to regret it, she was secretly relieved. Oh, at your house. Although I am a very serious person and don't like to do something ambiguous in a girl's house, since you sincerely invite me, then I will reluctantly do it. Yang Ming said with a smile. Shameless. Wang Xiaoyan scolded. She turned and walked away quickly. Her footsteps were amazingly fast. After a while, she disappeared. Yang Ming looked at Wang Xiaoyan's back and scolded. This woman, how can I be shameless? It's really inexplicable. Yang Ming started the car and rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, it didn't take long. An hour to go back and forth was relatively fast. Entering the ward, Auntie Li had already tidied up. At the moment, she was sitting on the sofa to rest. Chen Mengyan and Zhou Jijia were sitting side by side on the bed talking about something. Looking at the situation, it should be Chen Mengyan talking about something to Zhou Jijia. Perhaps it was some people and things in the university, and reminded Zhou Jijia of some habits and precautions after becoming a university student. Zhou Jijia was listening carefully. Chen Mengyan was also talking seriously. The two people were like a teacher and a student. It was very quiet. Mengyan, Jijia, I bought the clothes. Yang Ming entered the ward and put the bag in his hand aside. I bought it. Chen Mengyan stood up and took the paper bag in Yang Ming's hand. I was afraid that the mall would be closed at this time. I was about to call you and tell you to go to my house to get a piece of clothing. Chapter 944. Hee, at this time, there are a lot of people in the mall. Yang Ming smiled and said, I don't know much about girls' clothes, so I just bought one. If it doesn't look good, don't dislike it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look good. Anyway, you just have to wear it for one night. Chen Mengyan said as she took out the down jacket from the bag. Zhou Jijia was full of joy and expectation. How could she dislike it? This was the first piece of clothing that Yang Ming bought for her. Regardless of whether it looked good or not, Zhou Jijia was very happy. This represented a kind intention and a commemoration. Not bad. Chen Mengyan unfolded the down jacket that Yang Ming bought and smiled. Jijia, what do you think? And I think it looks good too. Zhou Jijia thought about it and said, I just lack a winter down jacket. I don't have to buy it anymore. In fact, with Zhou Jijia's family's economic conditions, how could she not have clothes to wear? She was afraid that her wardrobe had piled up like a mountain. However, Zhou Jijia wanted to find an excuse for wearing this jacket that Yang Ming gave her often in the future. Zhou Jijia put on the jacket, and it really fit her. Chen Mengyan made fun of it. Yang Ming, it seems that you know Jijia's figure very well. Hee, it's the same for you. Yang Ming firmly implemented the spirit of equality. How could Chen Mengyan not know? She glared at Yang Ming and ignored him. She took Zhou Jijia's hand and walked out of the ward. Zhou Jijia had only been lying in the hospital bed for more than a month. Her limbs were not affected, so she walked normally. It was just because she hadn't eaten for many days. With the support of glucose and nutrient solution, she felt that her body was a little light. In fact, when Zhou Jijia came here to be hospitalized, she didn't bring anything with her. Only some bedding, towels, and so on were added later. Auntie Li could pack them in a small bag. Yang Ming wanted to help Auntie Li carry it, but Auntie Li refused. Such a light bag, why would I need your help, Mr. Yang? Yang Ming no longer insisted. Doing these chores was within the scope of Auntie Lee's work. If he didn't let her do it, she would think that he was dissatisfied with her work. Zhou Jie had always felt that she was in a very dreamy time and space. How did she have a home? Had he become a member of a 3-person team? Although she also understood that the probability of transmigration was almost non-existent, this was the reality. When Yang Ming drove the car to a relatively unfamiliar neighborhood near the school, Zhou Jie was even more surprised. I've never been here before. Where was this place? Yang Ming parked the car in front of a villa and said, "Get off, we're home." Home. Zhou Jie looked at the unfamiliar villa in front of her in surprise. She had never been here before. Zhou Jie shook her head in surprise. Here. Yeah, it's here. Chen Mengyan pushed the door open and then jumped out of the car first. She took Zhou Jie's hand and pulled her down. Let's go in first. Oh, okay. Zhou Jie was pulled by Chen Mengyan and entered the villa in a daze. Chen Mengyan also had the key here, so when Yang Ming stopped the car, she pulled Zhou Jie into the villa first. Zhou Jie looked at the gorgeous villa in front of her with some disbelief. She couldn't remember that she, Yang Ming, and Chen Mengyan lived in this villa. Let's go. Let's go to your room first. Chen Mengyan looked at Zhou Jie's surprised and inexplicable look, and she found it funny. It was no wonder. Who would suddenly wake up, forget the events of this year, and be told by others that she already had a boyfriend and a home? Anyone would be surprised and inexplicable. Zhou Jie nodded, and her heart was very strange. There is my own room here. It seems that I must have lived here before, but I really don't remember. Such an important memory. The moment when Yang Ming accepted me. My first night. The warm time together. Why can't I remember it at all? Damn, such a precious memory. Why can't I have any impression of it? It was no wonder that Zhou Jie would think of the first night. The 3 of them lived together. If nothing happened between Yang Ming and me, it should be impossible, right? When Chen Mengyan pushed open the door of a bedroom on the 2nd floor, Zhou Jie was completely dumbfounded. The furnishings in this room were exactly the same as in my original room. There was no difference. It seemed that this was really my room without a doubt. Zhou Jie sighed. Did it transmigrate? Probably. Only this could explain the magical phenomenon in front of me. However, transmigration is transmigration. Although I don't remember those precious events, isn't the result what I have been looking forward to? If I really return to the original world, then I probably don't know what would be the situation with Yang Ming now. Now that I have become Yang Ming's girlfriend, it couldn't be better. It saved a lot of trouble. Sister Mengyan. You also know that I don't remember what happened before. Zhou Jie said with some emotion, now, I don't know how to face Yang Ming, so that's the case. Chen Mengyan smiled and said, it doesn't matter. If you can't adapt for a while, it's okay. Anyway, you will naturally adapt after getting along for a while. Chen Mengyan also understood Zhou Jie's current mood. She suddenly became Yang Ming's girlfriend. Most likely, she was not mentally prepared. Yang Ming parked the car and then entered the villa with Auntie Lee. Then, he gave a side room downstairs to Auntie Lee as her resting room. Auntie Lee was very happy about this. If she could find a stable job with a good income, it would be great. Right, Zhou Jie didn't eat. Auntie Lee, look in the kitchen later. There should be something like instant noodles. Help to make a packet for Zhou Jie. Yang Ming told Auntie Lee instant noodles are not nutritious. Let me see if there is anything else in the kitchen. I will make some, said Auntie Lee. Oh. Yang Ming was stunned and then said happily, Auntie Lee, you can cook. Hee hee, why can't I? Auntie Lee smiled and said, Mr. Yang, you hired me to be a nanny. If I can't cook, then I can't take this job. That's great. Yang Ming said, we will have good food in the future. I'm afraid that it won't be good. It won't be to Mr. Yang's taste. Auntie Lee said quickly. Auntie Lee, you can call me Yang Ming or Xiao Yang. Don't call me Mr. Yang. It sounds weird. Yang Ming said. How can that be? Auntie Lee was obviously not used to it. In her opinion, she should be respectful to the employer. It's just a name. It's nothing. Yang Ming smiled and said, if you call me like this, I won't be used to it. Well, then I will call you Yang Ming. Auntie Lee agreed. Right. There are eggs in the kitchen refrigerator. I don't know what else. You can see it yourself. It was bought by Chen Mengyan a few days ago. She didn't have time to cook it. I don't know if it is spoiled or not. Yang Ming said. Okay, I will go and see it myself. Auntie Lee nodded and walked to the kitchen. Yang Ming went upstairs and walked to Zhou Jiejia's room. Now, Chen Mengyan and Zhou Jiejia should be inside. Yang Ming knocked on the door, but it was Chen Mengyan who opened the door. When she saw Yang Ming, she whispered, Yang Ming, you come with me first. I have something to tell you. Yang Ming nodded and let Chen Mengyan in a flash. Chen Mengyan closed the door, and then they walked to the end of the corridor. Yang Ming, I'm sorry. Chen Mengyan said apologetically. Sorry. What's wrong? Yang Ming asked, puzzled. Before, in the hospital, I told Zhou Jiejia that she is already your girlfriend, and she usually lives with us. Chen Mengyan whispered, she lost her memory. I don't think she will have any doubts. Moreover, her feelings for you are real. I don't think this can be considered as lying to her. In fact, Yang Ming had already seen what Chen Mengyan said when he was in the hospital. But at this moment, when he heard Chen Mengyan's words, he still pretended to be very surprised. Mengyan, it's not good to do this, Yang Ming said in his heart, little sweetheart, you are doing too well. You are becoming more and more like a wife. You deserve to be praised. Keep up the good work. I also know that it's not good, but after all, you gave her a promise before, and she also likes you. I'm afraid that if she loses her memory, she will. Chen Mengyan didn't continue. After all, the words that followed were just her own guesses, and it was a little petty. Will she compete with you? How could Yang Ming not understand Chen Mengyan's thoughts? So he asked with a smile. When Yang Ming saw through her thoughts, Chen Mengyan suddenly blushed, but there was nothing to deny, so she said, yes, so what? Hee hee, it doesn't matter. Yang Ming took Chen Mengyan's hand and held it in his hand. You are also thinking for me. How can I blame you? It's good that you don't blame me. After Chen Mengyan listened to Yang Ming's words, she breathed a sigh of relief and said, Jiejia may still be a little uncomfortable. She doesn't know how to face you, so tonight, you don't have to stay here. I will accompany her and talk. Yang Ming nodded. That's fine. Then, you can accompany her. Yang Ming still had something to do tonight, but he had some regrets in his heart. He wanted to be intimate with Chen Mengyan again, but now it seemed impossible. Chapter 945. Auntie Lee's craftsmanship was really good. Although the ingredients in the kitchen were very limited, a bowl of steaming Yangchun noodles was served. It made Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan, the two people who had eaten dinner, salivate. Zhou Jiejia was really hungry. She took the noodles. Although she maintained the image of a lady eating, in the blink of an eye, the bowl of noodles was devoured by her. It's really delicious. Zhou Jijia was not stingy with her praise. I remember that when I was a child, I learned a text called A Bowl of Yangchan Noodles. However, there are very few authentic Yangchan noodles in the north. However, now that I have eaten it, it should be the taste that I imagined. It's good that you like it. I will make it in the future. Auntie Li heard Zhou Jijia's praise and was obviously very happy. My hometown is in Shanghai, so the Yangchan noodles are also authentic, but there are really few authentic noodles in the north. Auntie Li, it seems that the salary I give you is really a waste of talent. Even if you open a noodle restaurant, you can earn more than 2,000 yuan a month. Yang Ming said. I can't do it. I don't know how to manage things. If I open a noodle restaurant, I will lose everything. Auntie Li waved her hand and said quickly, I think it's already very good now. After Zhou Jijia finished eating the noodles, Auntie Li went to wash the dishes. Yang Ming looked at the time. Chen Mengyan and Zhou Jijia should also rest, so he said, then, Mengyan, you stay here to take care of Jijia. Uncle Chen, I have already called Dad. He knows that I won't go back. Chen Mengyan said. That's fine. Then I will go first. After Yang Ming finished speaking, he deliberately waved to Zhou Jijia. Jijia, I am leaving. Have a good rest. Zhou Jijia's face was red. She lowered her head, but she still said in a mosquito-like voice, be careful on the road. Yang Ming nodded. He also wanted to give Zhou Jijia some time to adapt. Otherwise, no one would be able to adapt without more than a year of memory. Now, it was a good idea to let Chen Mengyan accompany Zhou Jijia to chat. Yang Ming went out of the villa and walked to Wang Xiaoyan's house. In Wang Xiaoyan's villa, the lights were already on. It seemed that Wang Xiaoyan had returned. Yang's mother. Of course. Yang's mother's mother. Yang is mother's. Li. Is was. Is. Of Yang L it a. It. Yang Ming moved his body. Then, he grabbed the edge of the fence. With a push, he jumped over the fence. As for the door lock of the villa inside, it was a piece of cake for Yang Ming. He directly opened it with the lily key and then swaggered in. Since Wang Xiaoyan, this chick, didn't come out to welcome him, Yang Ming simply acted as a half-host. Where is she? Yang Ming looked at the empty living room and looked for Wang Xiaoyan. However, he didn't see Wang Xiaoyan. Is she really not at home? So, Yang Ming shouted, Wang Xiaoyan. Are you there? But there was no response. Yang Ming had no choice but to use his special ability to scan the house back and forth. Not on the first floor. Second floor. Damn, it can't be. This chick, Wang Xiaoyan, is actually taking a bath. White skin, small breasts, and a small butterfly tattoo on her butt. Yang Ming felt a surge of blood when he saw it. He had some unnatural physiological reactions. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. When I first saw Wang Xiaoyan at Zhao Ying's house, I didn't have such a strong reaction like now. It seems that the voodoo of Lan Ling is really harmful. It subtly turned me into a big pervert. However, this is also a reason for Yang Ming to be lustful. You can't blame me for seeing you taking a bath. Who asked you to let me come to you? You asked me to come, but I didn't wait there. Why did you take a bath? Wang Xiaoyan was applying foam to her body. Suddenly, she felt a chill. The assassin's sensitivity made her frown, but she didn't feel anything wrong. Wang Xiaoyan shook her head and continued to apply foam to her body. Yang Ming glanced at it, then glanced again, and glanced again. After a few glances, he retracted his gaze. Wang Xiaoyan's identity made Yang Ming more and more curious. At first, he thought that she was just a delinquent girl in the underworld, but now it seemed that Wang Xiaoyan wasn't as simple as a delinquent girl. And the little butterfly tattoo on her butt, could it be the code of some organization? Thinking of this, Yang Ming felt that it was very possible. His previous conjecture about Wang Xiaoyan was thrown aside. It seemed that Wang Xiaoyan was quite perfect. Except for her short height, small chest, and small butt, there was nothing wrong with her. However, she was still considered exquisite. Yang Ming was afraid that he couldn't stand it if he continued to look, so after withdrawing his gaze, he tried not to think about it. But as he thought about it, he circled back to Wang Xiaoyan's figure. Yang Ming shook his head and sat in the living room on the second floor, waiting for Wang Xiaoyan to take a bath. The sofa in the living room was facing the bathroom door, so as long as Wang Xiaoyan came out, Yang Ming could see her. I love to take a bath, the turtle falls, ah, 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 be careful of fleas, a lot of bubbles, ah, 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 the submarine is praying. Wash up and down. Rub it left and right. Yang Ming didn't sit for long before he heard the sound of humming in the bathroom. It was actually a children's song, bath song, sung by Fan Xiaoxian. Yang Ming was speechless after hearing it. This is Wang Xiaoyan singing. That unreasonable chick. As he was thinking, the bathroom door was pushed open. Wang Xiaoyan walked out naked with a towel in her hand. She continued to sing while wiping her hair, I wash up and down. Rub it left and right. My bathtub is good to sit in, hey. Yang Ming's eyes widened. Could it be that I encountered the legendary picture of a beauty coming out of the bath? Yang Ming rubbed his eyes. That's right. I didn't use my special ability. How did I see the naked Wang Xiaoyan? It can't be, she's really naked. Wang Xiaoyan was the kind of girl who didn't care about trifles. Otherwise, in Zhao Ying's house, she wouldn't have been seen by Yang Ming repeatedly. Generally, Wang Xiaoyan didn't bring a nightgown or a change of clothes when she went to take a bath. She would go back to the bedroom to change after coming out of the bathroom. Anyway, there was only one person in the house, so there was no need to be too careful. Wang Xiaoyan took a bath as usual. She walked out of the bathroom while wiping her hair and walked in the direction of the bedroom. However, after taking 2 steps, Wang Xiaoyan suddenly felt that something was wrong. Because, on the sofa in the square hall, there seemed to be one more person. Wang Xiaoyan abruptly looked towards the sofa and immediately screamed, "Ah!" Then, she subconsciously covered her private parts with her hands. How did you come in?" Wang Xiaoyan exclaimed. "I pressed the doorbell for a long time, but no one opened the door for me, so I climbed in through the window." Yang Ming didn't want to tell Wang Xiaoyan about the lily key. Wang Xiaoyan was completely going crazy. What the hell is this Yang Ming doing? He came in silently, and I ended up in front of him. Wang Xiaoyan suddenly remembered that she wasn't wearing clothes after the shock. Wang Xiaoyan was so scared that she quickly returned to the bathroom and closed the door with a ping sound. Yang Ming shrugged his shoulders and thought, you can't blame me for this. You were the one who ran around the house naked. I just accidentally saw something that I shouldn't have seen. Wang Xiaoyan simply had the heart to kill Yang Ming. This guy actually saw me naked. Wang Xiaoyan was so angry that she gritted her teeth. She couldn't wait to dig out Yang Ming's eyeballs and step on them like bubbles. After locking the bathroom door, Wang Xiaoyan patted her chest and thought about how to deal with Yang Ming in a while. There was a road to heaven, but you didn't take it. There was no door to hell, but you walked in. Am I, Wang Xiaoyan, so easy to bully? Originally, I just planned to teach you a lesson, but now, my body was seen by this pervert. How could Wang Xiaoyan easily let Yang Ming go? Wang Xiaoyan was really angry this time. After a while, Wang Xiaoyan's mood calmed down, but she also secretly made up her mind. If there was a chance in a while, she would kill Yang Ming. At the very least, she would make him a eunuch. Otherwise, it was really difficult to resolve the hatred in her heart. However, immediately, Wang Xiaoyan found a very important problem. In the bathroom, there were no clothes that she could change into. Her clothes were in the bedroom. And if Yang Ming didn't leave outside, she couldn't go back to the bedroom. Yang Ming, you go downstairs first. I want to go back to the bedroom to change my clothes. Wang Xiaoyan tried to make her voice sound calm. She couldn't let Yang Ming notice her murderous intent, even if she hated Yang Ming to the extreme at this moment. Oh, okay. Yang Ming wasn't the kind of person who liked to take advantage of people's difficulties. The incident just now was purely an accident. Yang Ming didn't expect it to be like this. So after agreeing readily, he went downstairs. Wang Xiaoyan listened to the footsteps outside go away. She waited for a long time until there was no sound. Then, she quietly opened the bathroom door a gap, and then looked outside. Sure enough, Yang Ming's figure was no longer in the hall. Wang Xiaoyan breathed a sigh of relief. She opened the bathroom door and quickly rushed to her bedroom. Her speed was extremely fast. After entering the bedroom, she quickly locked the bedroom door from the inside. Wang Xiaoyan patted her chest and began to put on her clothes. Tonight, she would let the pervert downstairs pay the price. She would let him know what the consequences of being a playboy are. Wang Xiaoyan thought resentfully. Chapter 946. Yang Ming sat on the sofa downstairs, turned on the TV, and watched the news as if it was his own home. In the local TV station, it was all news related to the haunted case, but in order not to cause panic among the public, the report was very general. It just reminded the public to pay attention to safety when driving at night. Yang Ming changed a few channels, but there was no good program, so just as he was about to turn off the TV, he heard the sound of stairs coming downstairs, accompanied by Wang Xiaoyan's delicate voice. Yang Ming, isn't your face a bit too big? Do you think this is your own home? Seeing Yang Ming leaning on the sofa and watching TV like a master, Wang Xiaoyan was depressed again. Yang Ming awkwardly turned off the TV and said, "Am I not bored waiting for you? Just watch TV for a while. Just watch. This is my home. Do you know that? In other people's home, are you so casual?" Wang Xiaoyan went downstairs and stared at Yang Ming. "Hey, after tonight, it is not certain whose home this is." Yang Ming was a little upset by Wang Xiaoyan, so he replied to her. "What do you mean?" Sure enough, Wang Xiaoyan's eyebrows raised after listening. "Nothing. If you lose, don't you want to be my mistress? Isn't your home my home?" Yang Ming smiled cheekily. "Let's talk about it when you win." Wang Xiaoyan listened to Yang Ming's words and couldn't refute. She had to say, "But if you lose, don't forget what you said. You have to move out tonight." "Well, I will fulfill your wish." Yang Ming narrowed his eyes and smiled slightly. "Your conditions are fair, but you know, I have always been a male chauvinist." "Why are you telling me this?" Wang Xiaoyan apparently misunderstood Yang Ming's meaning. "I have already said that if you win, I am willing to be your mistress, no matter what your character is." No. Yang Ming said the word "no" 3 times, shook his head and said to Wang Xiaoyan, "You got it wrong. It's not that you don't like me, but I don't like you." "What do you mean?" Wang Xiaoyan frowned, shook her wet hair, and asked with a stare. "The meaning is very simple. I don't like second-hand goods. If you are the original, then I will play with you once. If not, I am sorry, your conditions are not attractive at all. Yang Ming's attention and said faintly. To Yang. At first, she didn't understand Yang Ming's meaning. What original? But after thinking about it, she understood that Yang Ming was referring to whether she was a virgin or not. I refuse to answer. Wang Xiaoyan said angrily. Well, since it is like this, I am leaving. I don't need to play with you. Yang Ming said and was about to stand up. Wang Xiaoyan was immediately anxious. She made Yang Ming agree to compete with her. She had just thought of a way to fix Yang Ming. How could she let him go so easily? Don't go. Wang Xiaoyan said anxiously. Why don't I go? Seeing you like this, you are definitely not the original. It is meaningless for me to stay here. Yang Ming stood up and walked to the door. Come back. Wang Xiaoyan shouted angrily, I am still not good enough. Yeah, of course, you can. Yang Ming held back his laughter and turned around. He showed a look of disbelief. Am I right? I have to check. What if I am fooled? Wang Xiaoyan listened to Yang Ming's words. Her lungs were about to explode. Fuck off. If I say I am, then I am. If you want to check, wait until you win. Well, then I will believe you this time. Yang Ming nodded with a smile. When is the competition? Where? Let's go to the suburbs, a more spacious place. Wang Xiaoyan thought and said, let's go now. Go to the suburbs. Well, it is suitable for outdoor sex. I like it. Yang Ming nodded and agreed. Wang Xiaoyan showed her teeth and rolled her eyes at Yang Ming disdainfully. She thought, you are dreaming. When the time comes, you will know how powerful I am. Yang Ming didn't care. In his eyes, Wang Xiaoyan had become a little lamb for him to slaughter. Compete with the big bad wolf. Isn't this purely looking for food? If I don't eat you today, I am not the big bad wolf. You won't catch a cold like this, right? Yang Ming pointed at Wang Xiaoyan's hair that wasn't dry yet. Don't find an excuse to say that you caught a cold and didn't perform well when you lose. Humph. I never find an excuse. I am afraid that you will find an excuse when you lose. Wang Xiaoyan listened and snorted. Why would I find an excuse? If I lose, I will just move. What's the big deal? I won't be XX. Yang Ming smiled. As long as you don't regret it. Wang Xiaoyan sneered in her heart. Just move. Humph, when the time comes, it will be good if I don't break your legs during the competition. Yang Ming didn't say anything. Since Wang Xiaoyan wanted to compete, then let's compete. Who is afraid of who? Out of Wang Xiaoyan's villa, the two got in the car together. Wang Xiaoyan sat in the front passenger seat again. This time, she didn't argue. The suburbs were so far away. It was obviously not realistic to walk there. Let's go. After Wang Xiaoyan closed the door, she said to Yang Ming. Yang Ming nodded and started the car. Which suburb are we going to? You better decide first. Otherwise, if I just go there casually and you say that the location is wrong, I won't be able to take it if I don't perform well. Humph, am I such a person? Wang Xiaoyan felt that Yang Ming was really satirizing her credibility and character. I, Wang Xiaoyan, will do what I say. I hope that some people are the same. Then let's go to West Star Mountain. There are fewer people. Yang Ming said, at this time, no one should pass by. After Wang Xiaoyan listened, she nodded. Yang Ming was right. No one should pass by West Star Mountain at this time. If we go there, we won't be disturbed. Let's go there. As long as you don't run away, it will be fine. Me? Run away. What a joke. Yang Ming laughed twice and sped up the car. Whether it's a joke or not, we will know when we get there. Wang Xiaoyan didn't show weakness. She was afraid that Yang Ming would regret, so she kept using words to stimulate Yang Ming. How could Yang Ming not understand Wang Xiaoyan's purpose? However, he wasn't angry. He joked with her, and it was less lonely on the road. I say, Wang Xiaoyan, we are going to be married soon. We should get to know each other, right? Yang Ming had nothing to do, so he began to talk to Wang Xiaoyan. What little Yan? Disgusting. Wang Xiaoyan's face was red. She was so old, but no boy had called her that. She was angry, but there was a strange feeling in her heart. Disgusting. How come? Do you think your name is disgusting? Yang Ming pretended to be surprised and said, the name is given by the parents. You have no right to choose. Fuck off. Wang Xiaoyan was very angry. She said that Yang Ming called her little Yan disgusting, not that her name was disgusting. However, she couldn't explain it. She knew that Yang Ming was talking nonsense with her, but Wang Xiaoyan couldn't do anything about it. Hee, let's talk. We are still far from West Star Mountain. We have to drive for at least half an hour. Yang Ming continued. What do you want to say? Wang Xiaoyan didn't want to talk to Yang Ming, but she was afraid that if she annoyed him, he would refuse to compete. She had no choice but to say it perfunctorily. Why haven't I seen your parents? Do you live in Songjiang by yourself? Yang Ming was very curious about Wang Xiaoyan's life, so he asked tentatively. Yang Ming's very common words caused Wang Xiaoyan to sigh. After a while, Wang Xiaoyan said, I don't have a mother. My mother left me when I was very young. Originally, Wang Xiaoyan didn't want to say these words to Yang Ming, but she didn't want to make fun of her mother, so she told the truth. When she said this, she was a little sad. Ah. I'm sorry. Seeing that Wang Xiaoyan's face didn't seem to be lying, Yang Ming was stunned and quickly apologized. He didn't expect Wang Xiaoyan to have such a pitiful heart. It's nothing. I'm used to it. Wang Xiaoyan shook her head and her face returned to normal. What about your father? Yang Ming knew that Wang Xiaoyan's heart was now very fragile, and it was the easiest to test her secret. My father. When Wang Xiaoyan said this, there was a trace of sadness on her face. She shook her head with a bitter smile. I don't want to talk about him. Thinking that she might become a victim of her family's interests, how could Wang Xiaoyan be happy? Marrying a person she didn't know, this made Wang Xiaoyan feel very unacceptable. Yang Ming listened to Wang Xiaoyan's words and smiled bitterly. Wang Xiaoyan didn't say anything. There was no useful information. Looking at Wang Xiaoyan's expression, it was obvious that she didn't want to talk too much about her family. Yang Ming couldn't help it. He had to change the topic. Right, what are you doing in Songjiang? Are you also going to school? I'm going to school. Wang Xiaoyan said perfunctorily. What school? Yang Ming continued to ask. He thought, is it to hide your identity? Songjiang Industry University, the same as you. Wang Xiaoyan replied. Then why haven't I seen you before? Yang Ming was a little curious. It turned out that Wang Xiaoyan was actually his classmate. It's not the same campus. Wang Xiaoyan said indifferently. Oh, so that's the case. Songjiang Industry University had several campuses. Yang Ming also knew that. However, Li Yixuan seemed to have said before that Wang Xiaoyan was a student of Songjiang Industry University. It was just that Yang Ming didn't pay attention to Wang Xiaoyan at that time, so he didn't remember this. Didn't you do this research before you pursued me? Wang Xiaoyan obviously didn't believe that Yang Ming didn't know anything about her. She ridiculed him with some disdain. She thought that Yang Ming was just trying to find a topic. Chapter 947. Hey! Yang Ming's eyes widened in astonishment. I pursued you. Yang Ming said in his heart, when did I pursue you? Are you kidding me? Why? You don't dare to admit it. Wang Xiaoyan said very disdainfully, I hate men who don't take responsibility. Why don't I dare to admit it? But when did I pursue you? Yang Ming was somewhat inexplicable. Wang Xiaoyan saw Yang Ming's annoying look, and she was annoyed. If you don't pursue me, why did you send me flowers? Why did you say those disgusting words? I sent flowers. Yang Ming was stunned, and then he thought of the key of the matter. Fuck, Li Yixuan, you fucking killed me. Thinking of what I said when I sent the flowers, no wonder Wang Xiaoyan misunderstood. Then, he association with Wang Xiaoyan's sarcasm when she saw him. Yang Ming could be sure. It turns out that this chick is making things difficult for me because of this matter. This Li Yixuan is really causing a lot of trouble. However, Yang Ming was too lazy to explain at the moment. Now, this chick was angry. She probably wouldn't believe it even if he explained it. It would be a waste of my words. Besides, Yang Ming didn't need to explain to her. I will teach her a lesson in a while, so that she doesn't think that I'm the most powerful person in the world. As for finding Wang Xiaoyan as a lover, Yang Ming hadn't thought about it yet. As for the question of whether it was original, it was just to scare her. Why? Did you remember? Wang Xiaoyan sneered. Your memory is really not complimentary. Hee, is it? Yang Ming didn't answer, but he asked a question. Whether it is or not, you know in your heart. Wang Xiaoyan increasingly felt that Yang Ming was really asking for a beating. He is simply not a man. Look at him. He is so timid. He doesn't even dare to admit that he pursued a girl. What can he do? However, Wang Xiaoyan was relieved. It seems that with his courage, it is impossible to play any tricks. Yang Ming parked the car at the foot of West Star Mountain. There was a large open space waiting to be developed, so almost no one would pass by during normal times, not to mention at night. Even the vehicles passing by. Here. Yang Ming looked around and then said to Wang Xiaoyan. Wang Xiaoyan was obviously satisfied with this place. It was spacious and endless. She was not afraid that Yang Ming would set up an ambush. Do you need to turn on the headlights? Yang Ming asked as he pulled the handbrake. There were no street lights here. If the lights were turned off, it would become dark. There's no need. Wang Xiaoyan looked outside and refused directly. Although it was very dark outside, she could still vaguely see the shadows under the moonlight. Wang Xiaoyan had received dark training since she was a child. In the dark, her insight into things was more sensitive than ordinary people, so the darker it was, the more advantageous it was for her. It was just that Wang Xiaoyan didn't think that the dark was more advantageous to Yang Ming. This guy was simply no different in the dark than in the daytime. After a while, when Wang Xiaoyan recalled this past, she could only smile bitterly. Why was I so stupid? Yang Ming didn't say much. He turned off the headlights of the car, turned off the engine, and jumped out of the car. How do we compete? Kickboxing or something else? Asked Yang Ming. And, it is kickboxing until one side can't get up from the ground or automatically admits defeat. Wang Xiaoyan said the rules of the competition. Can't get up. Yang Ming thought, this chick is quite insidious. Could it be that she wants to beat me until I can't get up? Hee hee, but in a while, I will ride on you so that you can't get up. And, okay, are there any restrictions? For example, I can't hit a certain part or something. Yang Ming asked lasciviously. But unfortunately, Wang Xiaoyan couldn't see his expression. Otherwise, she would definitely be vigilant. Wang Xiaoyan thought about Yang Ming's proposal before, but if this proposal was added, Wang Xiaoyan felt that it would be more harmful than beneficial to her. Although there were some special parts on the girl's body, such as the chest, Wang Xiaoyan felt that with her skill, she shouldn't let Yang Ming touch her. If this rule was added, it would be more troublesome if Yang Ming set a rule that he couldn't hit here or there. It was better to have no rules at all. So Wang Xiaoyan said, no, you can do whatever you want. If you win, you are capable. If you lose, you are unlucky. Originally, there were no rules when assassins fought. Wang Xiaoyan naturally didn't want to have restrictions, and Yang Ming also thought so the two hit it off. Yang Ming said after listening, well, I think so too. Can we start? Yes. Wang Xiaoyan stood still and said to Yang Ming, you go first. I will give you a chance to make a move. Don't. Once I make a move, you have nothing to do. This was Yang Ming's classic catchphrase. Wang Xiaoyan was so angry that she almost fainted. At this time, you still want to show off. If this is the case, then fine. If you don't want to make a move, then don't make a move. This is what you said. Wang Xiaoyan said coldly. As soon as the voice fell, Wang Xiaoyan moved. At the beginning, Wang Xiaoyan naturally didn't use any killing moves. It was just a tentative attack. In the darkness, her small hand turned into a fist and hit Yang Ming's face. AI, don't hit people in the face. I am not willing to hit your face, and you still want to hit me. Yang Ming grinned and smiled. He turned his head casually and avoided Wang Xiaoyan's punch. Wang Xiaoyan was stunned. She didn't expect Yang Ming to avoid her punch so easily, but she didn't think much about it because her punch wasn't fierce. It was just a tentative attack. Generally, the punks who were more proficient in fighting could smoothly avoid this punch. Seeing that the attack didn't hit, Wang Xiaoyan immediately retracted her fist. This time, she turned her fist into a palm and slapped toward Yang Ming's face. I said that there are no rules. Don't talk so much nonsense. Wang Xiaoyan replied to Yang Ming coldly. This slap was horizontal. If it was just the head, it was impossible to avoid it. Moreover, when Wang Xiaoyan's right hand was out, her left hand wasn't idle. She punched toward Yang Ming's ribs. As an assassin, Wang Xiaoyan had a very good coordination ability. Her left hand and right hand were well matched. It seemed that there was no stagnation. Originally, it was dark in front of them, and the visibility was very low. If it were other people, they might have fallen into Wang Xiaoyan's trap. They could avoid the left hand, but they couldn't avoid the right hand. However, Yang Ming saw the situation in front of him very clearly. He smiled slightly, and his body suddenly moved to the side. Wang Xiaoyan's left hand missed, but her right hand still slapped over fiercely. Yang Ming naturally wouldn't let Wang Xiaoyan succeed. This chick is still fucking excited. I said not to hit the face. Why do you still want to hit me? Do you want to make me angry? If you really hurt my face, how can I explain it to Qin Mengyan and the others when I go back? This kind of obvious injury, even the punks didn't like to have it. After all, if they were caught, they wouldn't even have the chance to quibble. Since you hit my face, then I won't be polite with you. Isn't there no rules? That's fine. Yang Ming smiled. This is what you asked for. Yang Ming suddenly squatted down and dodged Wang Xiaoyan's slap. Then, he quickly stretched out his two hands and grabbed Wang Xiaoyan's chest. Yang Ming's speed was much faster than Wang Xiaoyan's. He caught it immediately. Yang Ming squeezed twice. So soft. It can't be, right? She didn't wear a bra after taking a shower. Wang Xiaoyan didn't wear a bra because she wanted to compete with Yang Ming. It was because it would be very uncomfortable to fight with a bra, and it would affect her normal performance. She didn't expect to be caught by Yang Ming. Wang Xiaoyan was suddenly shocked and shouted, Yang Ming. What are you doing? It's a breast-grabbing technique. Yang Ming smiled, Wei Xiaobao's unique skill. How is it? Isn't it amazing? Yang Ming said and rubbed twice. Not bad. It's so elastic. Although it's not very big, it's much stronger than Chen Mingyan's. It seems that it must be the result of long-term training and exercise. You are shameless. Wang Xiaoyan didn't expect Yang Ming to do this. She was so angry that she kicked at Yang Ming. Yang Ming naturally couldn't touch her for too long. It was fine to touch her for a while. After a long time, this chick would definitely go berserk. So, he quickly let go of his hand and dodged to the back. He smiled and said, You are the one who said that there are no rules. That means we can fight anywhere. Humph. Wang Xiaoyan was so angry that her eyes were red. Since she was young, her breasts had never been touched by a man. This guy actually touched her breasts, and he even took it for granted. Wang Xiaoyan originally had the intention to teach Yang Ming a lesson. After being hit by Yang Ming, she had the intention to kill Yang Ming. Therefore, Wang Xiaoyan also gave up the idea of continuing to test. She went crazy and tried to kill Yang Ming with all her strength. In Yang Ming's eyes, although Wang Xiaoyan's moves were very fierce and vicious, they didn't have the slightest harm to him. After the special training, Yang Ming was no longer the ignorant person before, especially with the advantage of night vision. Wang Xiaoyan's every move was all within Yang Ming's control. However, as Wang Xiaoyan's killing moves gradually increased, Yang Ming's brows also frowned. Motherfucker. It's just a competition. You don't have to be so crazy, right? Fortunately, I have practiced before. Otherwise, I would have been killed by you on the spot. If it were an ordinary person, I am afraid that he would have died long ago. However, Wang Xiaoyan didn't think so much at all. At this moment, Wang Xiaoyan was completely angry. Her only thought was revenge. Defeat this big pervert. Even when Yang Ming could repeatedly avoid her attacks, Wang Xiaoyan didn't think about what was going on. Chapter 948. Looking at Wang Xiaoyan's skill, Yang Ming suddenly had a feeling of déjà vu. He seemed to have seen it somewhere before, but it was somewhat different. Yang Ming shook his head. This chick, I still don't know whether she is a friend or a foe. I can't take it lightly. Looking at her current appearance, she must want to kill me. While Yang Ming was dealing with her, he was also a little annoyed. You can't be endless, right? If the tiger doesn't show its power, do you think I'm Hello Kitty? Yang Ming was thinking about how to subdue this chick, but he didn't expect Wang Xiaoyan to be unable to subdue him for a long time. He was also a little annoyed. Wang Xiaoyan thought of Yang Ming's wretched behavior to her, and she gritted her teeth. Now, she couldn't do anything to Yang Ming. Wang Xiaoyan gritted her teeth and decided to use a dirty trick. While Yang Ming was dealing with her hands, Wang Xiaoyan suddenly stretched out her right leg and kicked toward Yang Ming's crotch. Yang Ming was also dealing with Wang Xiaoyan with a playful attitude. When she hit him with her left hand, he dealt with it with his right hand. When she hit him with her right hand, he dealt with it with his left hand. When they hit him together, he dealt with it with both hands. Now, he was dealing with her hands, but he didn't expect this chick to play such a vicious trick. Fortunately, Yang Ming's reaction was sharp. Otherwise, according to the strength of Wang Xiaoyan's leg, Yang Ming's penis would have been broken. Seeing that Wang Xiaoyan actually kicked his penis, Yang Ming was furious. Isn't this chick too inhumane? She can't beat you, so she plays dirty. If it were other people, they would immediately become eunuchs. However, Yang Ming didn't think about how angry Wang Xiaoyan was when he attacked her chest. If he didn't teach the pervert a lesson after being flirted with, it wouldn't make sense, let alone a fierce girl like Wang Xiaoyan. Yang Ming suddenly retracted his leg and sandwiched Wang Xiaoyan's right leg between his legs. He did not show any mercy and directly pressed Wang Xiaoyan to the ground. Whether it was strength or skill, Wang Xiaoyan could not possibly be Yang Ming's opponent. When Wang Xiaoyan found herself pressed to the ground by Yang Ming, she wanted to fight back, but she helplessly found that her four limbs were very well suppressed by Yang Ming, leaving her no room for resistance. You little girl, aren't you being too mean? Do you want me to die without descendants? Yang Ming pressed Wang Xiaoyan and said fiercely, I was just casually playing with you, and I didn't take it seriously. You, on the other hand, are not only killing moves, but also dirty moves. You let me go. Wang Xiaoyan couldn't move and shouted anxiously. What are you shouting for? There isn't even a ghost here. No one can hear you shouting. Yang Ming's voice just fell, but he heard the sound of someone's breathing not far behind him. This kid is not sleeping in the middle of the night. What is he doing here in this place? Every time he has a ghost face on his face. Is he mentally ill? Ghost face. Wait. Yang Ming seemed to have figured something out. Chen Afu pretending to be a ghost had been discovered by him several times. This shows that this guy pretends to be a ghost regularly, not accidentally. Then, does the recent haunting case have anything to do with this guy? Yang Ming thought of something when he encountered the haunting case, but it was a bit vague. Now that he saw Chen Afu, he immediately understood that the person he thought of was him. Thinking of this, Yang Ming didn't care about Wang Xiaoyan under him. He jumped up from the ground and chased after Chen Afu. Just as Chen Afu was about to get on the bicycle, Yang Ming was about to catch up with him. Suddenly, there was a whistling sound behind him. Yang Ming was shocked. He quickly turned around and saw Wang Xiaoyan punching his back. Yang Ming didn't dare to meet force with force. He could only turn around and deal with Wang Xiaoyan. On the other side, Chen Afu had already ridden the bicycle and ran away. Yang Ming was resentful in his heart. Motherfucker. You little girl, you can't do anything right. I let you go, but you still sneak behind me. Today, if I don't teach you a lesson that you will remember for a lifetime, my surname isn't Yang. Originally, Yang Ming was excited to find some clues to the haunting case, but now, he was extremely angry. He glared at Wang Xiaoyan. His face was pale with anger. Under the moonlight, it was terrifying. Wang Xiaoyan stayed in the dark for a long time. Her vision was also adapted. At this moment, she could see Yang Ming's face with the reflection of the moonlight and snow. Didn't you see that I went to catch someone? What are you doing? Yang Ming's voice also became cold. Wang Xiaoyan saw that Yang Ming had a cynical look before. Suddenly, he became so fierce. Wang Xiaoyan was a little dumbfounded. Just now, Yang Ming got up to catch someone. She also saw it, but she didn't think much about it. She just thought that this was a good opportunity to defeat Yang Ming. She didn't expect Yang Ming to be so angry. However, she wasn't willing to admit defeat. Our competition isn't over yet. I can do whatever I want. You can do whatever you want. Okay. Yang Ming sneered. Who do you think you are? Do you really think that you are a top assassin? I have been giving in to you. Do you think that you are very powerful? After listening to Yang Ming's words, Wang Xiaoyan was suddenly stunned. Her mind suddenly became clear. Recalling what happened just now, she was secretly shocked. Indeed, Yang Ming didn't seem to use much effort at all. He dealt with all of her killing moves easily. In the end, he even pressed her to the ground and couldn't move. Thinking of this, Wang Xiaoyan's face suddenly became pale. She didn't believe it. I am an assassin. How can I not beat a little punk? Especially when she heard Yang Ming's last sentence, you really think that you are a top assassin? Wang Xiaoyan was even more shocked. She didn't know if Yang Ming was just casually saying it, or had he already guessed her identity. You, who are you? Wang Xiaoyan wasn't stupid. She didn't react just now because she was confused by Yang Ming's sudden attack on her chest. Her mind was only thinking about revenge and nothing else. But now, she had to consider such an important issue. Who am I? Yang Ming shook his head. Sorry, after you become my woman, I will tell you. You, what are you going to do? Wang Xiaoyan saw Yang Ming approaching her step by step. Suddenly, there was a fear in her heart. Yes, Wang Xiaoyan had already understood at this moment that she wasn't Yang Ming's opponent. My killing move can be easily cracked by the other party. It seems that a simple counterpressure can make me unable to move. How can such a person be simple? What am I going to do? Of course, it is to fulfill your promise. Yang Ming's face was very cold, without a trace of emotion. You can't have forgotten the previous agreement, right? That is against the law. Wang Xiaoyan was at her wit's end. She was scared in her heart. Why didn't you say that it was against the law when you killed someone? Yang Ming's voice was full of sarcasm. Of course, Yang Ming was referring to Wang Xiaoyan's killing move, but he also implied that Wang Xiaoyan was an assassin. Chapter 949. Wang Xiaoyan bit her lip and looked at Yang Ming with vigilance. Wang Xiaoyan wanted to teach Yang Ming a lesson before, but now, the situation had changed a lot. Not only did she not teach Yang Ming a lesson, but she was also in danger of being bullied by him. Yang Ming. Wang Xiaoyan secretly looked at the man in front of her. This man made her feel very dangerous. That little hooligan-like smile had fooled her. Thinking of the previous rock climbing and Yang Ming's nimble skills, Wang Xiaoyan began to regret. How can a little gangster have this? I really underestimated him. However, Wang Xiaoyan didn't understand. Since Yang Ming's skills were so powerful, then the previous time when he was with Zhao Ying, he was just dealing with 2 underworld robbers and was injured. Zhao Ying even helped him apply medicine. Wang Xiaoyan had a deep memory of this incident. Wang Xiaoyan was confident that if it were her, she would be able to kill the 2 gangsters within 5 moves. With Yang Ming's current skill, it was estimated that he would be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone even if it was just 2 moves. Then why did he do it? Was it to deliberately hide his strength? Or was there another reason? This person, Yang Ming, made Wang Xiaoyan feel very curious. What she didn't expect was that there was actually such a powerful master by her side. It was just that when Yang Ming faced Yang Ming, Wang Xiaoyan had an unnatural feeling of déjà vu. It seemed that she had seen him before, but she didn't have any impression of him. Get in the car. After Yang Ming opened the car door with the remote control, he said to Wang Xiaoyan in a deep voice, don't force me to do it. Although I don't mind you resisting, the more you resist, the more violent I will be. In the face of Yang Ming's naked threat, Wang Xiaoyan secretly hated in her heart. She had calculated everything, but she didn't expect Yang Ming to be a hidden master. No wonder her men had been defeated by this guy several times. She thought that it was because her men were useless. Now it seemed that this Yang Ming was really not simple. Looking at Yang Ming's cold eyes, Wang Xiaoyan knew that her behavior today had completely angered this man. He must have something important to do before he let her go, but she ruined his good deed. No wonder he was so angry. Let's talk, okay? Wang Xiaoyan tried to make a final struggle. After you become my woman, we will talk about other things. Yang Ming's voice was still cold, and he was unmoved. Wang Xiaoyan was a little discouraged. Obviously, Yang Ming wouldn't let her go. Wang Xiaoyan quietly reached for her pocket. She wouldn't use a gun in China unless she had to. The previous lipstick pistol was given to a guy named Lu Lei in Macau. After returning to Songjiang, Wang Xiaoyan got another one through special channels. What are you touching? Yang Ming glanced at Wang Xiaoyan and said coldly. It's nothing. Wang Xiaoyan tried her best to look calm. Oh, are you looking for this? A lipstick pistol appeared in Yang Ming's hand, and the muzzle was pointed at Wang Xiaoyan. How did you get it? Wang Xiaoyan was shocked. She reached out and touched her pocket, but she was disappointed to find that the lipstick pistol in her pocket was gone. I found it when I pressed you under my body. Yang Ming played with the lipstick pistol in his hand. It's very delicate, but unfortunately, it can only hold 2 bullets. Yang Ming knew that this chick had a gun when he was in Macau. How could he not take precautions in advance? Just now, when he pressed Wang Xiaoyan under his body, Yang Ming took the lipstick pistol from Wang Xiaoyan's pocket. Who the hell are you? Wang Xiaoyan found that she was really wrong. She really underestimated Yang Ming's ability. I said that after you are my woman, I will tell you if you behave well. Yang Ming said with some impatience, hurry up. Don't challenge my patience. I don't mind doing some disgusting things after I kill you. Yang Ming played with the lipstick pistol in his hand easily and said evilly. Wang Xiaoyan was horrified when she heard it. She could naturally association what Yang Ming meant by disgusting things. Okay, don't talk nonsense. Get in the car. Yang Ming opened the door of the front passenger seat for Wang Xiaoyan gracefully. Wang Xiaoyan gritted her teeth and finally walked to Yang Ming's car. Now she had no choice. She looked at Yang Ming's devilish smile. She didn't doubt that what Yang Ming said was just a joke. Of course, Yang Ming was just joking. Unfortunately, Wang Xiaoyan made the wrong bet. Yang Ming didn't have any major shortcomings, but he was a little soft-hearted, especially to girls. At this time, if Wang Xiaoyan cried unreasonably, Yang Ming would really be at a loss. He wouldn't know where to start, and he would let her go because he was soft-hearted. However, Wang Xiaoyan considered the problem from her own perspective. Wang Xiaoyan was an assassin, and Yang Ming was a terrible opponent in her view. I wanted to kill Yang Ming several times. Would Yang Ming let me go so easily? Wang Xiaoyan felt that it was impossible. Although Wang Xiaoyan valued a girl's chastity more, it wasn't impossible to not have it. The assassin training since childhood taught her that as an assassin, the most important thing was to save one's life. Face and humiliation were nothing. Only by saving one's life could one go for revenge and carry out a new mission. Therefore, at this moment, there was no way to resist. Then, just endure it. A single mistake had led to the current situation. Originally, she thought that Yang Ming was just a soft persimmon that she could knead, but now it seemed that she had become a soft persimmon. Yang Ming saw Wang Xiaoyan get in the car, and he followed her to the driver's seat. Then, he put down the 2 seats in the front row. There is no room for negotiation. Wang Xiaoyan made a final struggle. Don't play if you can't afford to lose. Yang Ming said faintly, today, I will teach you a lesson. Wang Xiaoyan wanted to resist, but she had no doubt that Yang Ming could restrain her again before she resisted. This approach of repeatedly provoking Yang Ming was obviously unwise. In that case, God knew what Yang Ming would do. As he just said, it was unknown if he would kill her. Yang Ming was annoyed. Wang Xiaoyan, this chick, didn't know her place. She wanted to teach him a lesson, but she ruined his good deed. Evil came from the guts, and he didn't distinguish between the 2 sides. He directly hugged Wang Xiaoyan in his arms. Who asked you to seduce me? Who asked you to take a bath in the villa? Who asked you not to wear a bra? Who asked you to bet to be my lover? Now, I will let you get what you want. Yang Ming began to take off Wang Xiaoyan's clothes, but the space in the car was relatively small, so it was not easy to take off the clothes. Wang Xiaoyan couldn't resist, so she simply lost the bet. Yang Ming, I can be your lover, but at most for 4 years. Thinking that after 4 years she would become a sacrifice for interests, Wang Xiaoyan couldn't help but feel a little sad. She didn't understand why her father valued fame and fortune so much. Is it just because he doesn't have a son? Doesn't he want the family to decline in my generation? What's the point of fighting for the illusory title of the first assassin? Thinking of this, Wang Xiaoyan's stubbornness came up again. Yes, why should I maintain my chastity for a husband that I can't see or touch? So what if I do it with Yang Ming? If my future husband dislikes me because of this, it is better. I don't have to marry him, and I will be free. Thinking of this, Wang Xiaoyan also thought it through, so she said to Yang Ming that she would be his lover for 4 years. As for whether she wanted to retaliate against Yang Ming after 4 years, she hadn't thought about it yet. At least with her current skills, it was impossible to retaliate. For Wang Xiaoyan's sudden change, Yang Ming was somewhat caught off guard. You agreed. Yeah, why don't I agree? Wang Xiaoyan thought it through, and the knot in her heart was naturally untied. If you want to bet, you have to lose. Come on. Anyway, she had to go to this step in the end. Wang Xiaoyan didn't believe that she could meet love in this life, so instead of having sex with a stranger, it was better to let Yang Ming take advantage of it first. This time, it was Yang Ming's turn to hesitate. If Wang Xiaoyan resisted and took the opportunity to sneak an attack on him, Yang Ming would definitely not hesitate to tear off her clothes violently, and then forcibly access her. But now, it wasn't forceful. Yang Ming suddenly felt a little discouraged. What are you waiting for? Don't tell me you don't dare. Wang Xiaoyan thought it through, so she no longer avoided it. Seeing Yang Ming hesitate, Wang Xiaoyan was a little unhappy. Don't dare. Who said I don't dare? Yang Ming said with a glare. Then come on. Don't tell me you don't know. Wang Xiaoyan sneered with some contempt. It turned out that this guy was tough on the outside but weak on the inside. Don't know. Who said I don't know? Yang Ming was really confused now. Did this chick eat the wrong medicine? Since you know, why don't you come? Can't you do it? Wang Xiaoyan said sarcastically. As an assassin, Wang Xiaoyan naturally learned the physiological structure of the human body. She also understood some of the desires and reactions of men. Therefore, although she felt a little embarrassed when she said these words, she was not too shy. Can't I? Yang Ming was suddenly anxious. Which man wanted to be said that he couldn't do it? Especially a man like Yang Ming, who was a strong male chauvinist, it was even more harsh. Chapter 950. Then what are you waiting for? Wang Xiaoyan looked at Yang Ming with a smile, and suddenly a sense of achievement rose in her heart. Before, she had been at a disadvantage. Whether it was bickering or fighting, she was not Yang Ming's opponent. Now, she seemed to have found Yang Ming's weakness, that is, he is amenable to coaxing but not coercion. The more you follow him, the more timid he will be. Wang Xiaoyan finally found a way to vent her anger, so she continued to push Yang Ming. The space here is too small, you are wearing too much. Ugh, it's not easy to take it off. Yang Ming was a little depressed. Fuck, is this the legendary rape? Why does it feel so awkward? How can a rapist ask the rapist to hurry up? This world is too crazy, and Yang Ming's thinking can't keep up. Then I will help you. Wang Xiaoyan said softly, exhaling like orchids, blowing in Yang Ming's ear. It was very tempting. After that, Wang Xiaoyan reached for the buttons of her coat and unbuttoned them one by one. Ugh! Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded, and his heart began to beat a retreat drum. Something is wrong. With this girl's temper, how can she let me succeed so easily? Was there some kind of conspiracy behind this? As Wang Xiaoyan's coat gently unfolded, the white skin inside was revealed. Under the moonlight, it was a little dazzling. Soon, the entire coat was taken off, leaving only a small pink vest inside. On the small vest, there were 2 bulges, which was very attractive. Then, I'm going to do it. Yang Ming asked tentatively. Come on, I welcome you. Wang Xiaoyan carefully folded the coat to avoid a trace in a while. Wang Xiaoyan put the coat on the steering wheel of the car. Welcome me. Yang Ming felt that he was going to collapse. Motherfucker, I want to forcibly XX you, right? Why did it feel like the two of them were in love? Can't you resist? Yang Ming looked at the charming Wang Xiaoyan. His heart was moved, but he felt that something was missing. You don't give me a sense of achievement. Me? Why should I resist? Wang Xiaoyan was very surprised and said, if you agree to bet, you must accept to lose. This is what you said. I lost, so I naturally have to abide by the previous agreement. Wang Xiaoyan knew her fate very well. If she followed the path her father had planned for her, she would never have any love in her life. Wang Xiaoyan's character was somewhat rebellious. Otherwise, she wouldn't run away from home and come to Songjiang to study. Therefore, Wang Xiaoyan didn't mind being crazy and rebellious again. At least, this was the first time that she could make the decision. Even if the person in front of her made Wang Xiaoyan extremely angry, but to be fair, this guy was the man that Wang Xiaoyan had the most contact with since she was a child. Regardless of her impression of him, since the matter was already here, she would do it. Wang Xiaoyan saw that Yang Ming was still indifferent. She smiled and reached out to pull down the small vest on her body. Then, she turned over and sat on Yang Ming. She asked softly, "Am I beautiful?" Looking at the 2 little jade bunnies exposed in the air, Yang Ming's throat couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. He nodded subconsciously. Beautiful. Do you want me? Wang Xiaoyan continued to ask. Yang Ming couldn't hold it anymore. I don't care what this chick wants to do. I can't hold it anymore. Just as he wanted to make a move, he suddenly felt that Wang Xiaoyan's entire upper body leaned over. The 2 jade bunnies were on Yang Ming's face. Oh. Yang Ming vaguely groaned. He thought, motherfucker. Who is raping who? It seems that I got the wrong person, right? Immediately afterward, Yang Ming felt a hand groping toward his crotch. she was trying to untie his belt. Perhaps it was because the belt buckle was special, Wang Xiaoyan couldn't untie it for a long time. Yang Ming wanted to help, but he suddenly felt that his waist was cold, and his pants were scattered. Yang Ming was secretly puzzled. He glanced at it from the corner of his eyes and was shocked. Fuck. This chick is really worthy of being an assassin. He didn't know when there was a shiny dagger in her hand. Wang Xiaoyan just used this dagger, which he didn't know where it came from, to cut off Yang Ming's belt. Seeing the situation in front of him, Yang Ming was scared and broke out in a cold sweat. This chick, if she had evil thoughts and castrated him, then he wouldn't be able to find a place to cry. However, Wang Xiaoyan obviously didn't mean to harm Yang Ming at the moment. After the dagger completed its mission, Wang Xiaoyan threw it on the ground. As for whether Yang Ming wanted to take off his clothes, Wang Xiaoyan didn't care. Anyway, as long as a man took off his pants, he could do it. Yang Ming watched Wang Xiaoyan throw away the dagger with a lingering fear. Before he could recover, he felt that his lower body was surrounded by warmth, which was accompanied by Wang Xiaoyan's soft cry. Although it was very refreshing, Yang Ming suddenly had a sense of frustration. Today was really a failure. You go down. I'll go up. Yang Ming couldn't stand it. He wanted to regain his lost dignity. He felt that he had done the most fucked up thing in his life today. Motherfucker, if this spreads out, my heroic image will be gone. Therefore, Yang Ming turned around and pressed Wang Xiaoyan below. Wait, I feel a little pain. Wang Xiaoyan, who was played by Yang Ming a few times, suddenly grabbed Yang Ming and didn't let him move again. You go down. I can control my strength. Otherwise, it will be too painful. Yang Ming rolled his eyes and let Wang Xiaoyan occupy the high ground again. Being protective of the fairer sex was Yang Ming's good virtue. Since Wang Xiaoyan said so, Yang Ming couldn't do anything. However, not long after, Wang Xiaoyan couldn't stand it. Her breathing became rapid. She hugged Yang Ming tightly. She screamed and leaned on Yang Ming softly. Yang Ming looked at Wang Xiaoyan with some puzzlement. This chick can't be done so quickly. Why did you stop? Stopped. Wang Xiaoyan replied lazily, why? Are you not done yet? Damn, do you think I'm a fast shooter? It hasn't even been 10 minutes. Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded. Ah. Wang Xiaoyan was stunned. I seem to be done. Why are you so slow? Slow. Yang Ming broke into a sweat. He thought, isn't this chick too sensitive? She's actually so fast. I read in the book that the man is usually done first. Wang Xiaoyan said with some suspicion, why are you so troublesome? I'm tired. Then you wait for a while. After that, she continued to lie on Yang Ming's body lazily without moving. Yang Ming was so angry that his teeth were itching. Motherfucker, this is probably the most failed rape incident in the world. If this was known by others, wouldn't they laugh their heads off? Yang Ming hugged Wang Xiaoyan's soft body. He wanted to continue, but he couldn't bear it. Who asked my heart to be softer than tofu? Of course, this is only for women. If it was an enemy, Yang Ming would have already blown his head with a punch. Wang Xiaoyan rested for a while, then she stretched lazily. Her face was full of redness. It hurts. Let's forget about it this time. Next time, I'll let you be on top. Although it was a little painful, Wang Xiaoyan felt that the taste was still good. At least it was more comfortable than using her own hands. Then what do I do now? Yang Ming deliberately moved so that Wang Xiaoyan could feel that he was still firm. It's really annoying. Wang Xiaoyan was very sleepy every time after releasing. She wanted to sleep. At this moment, she was in a daze and didn't want to move. Seeing that Yang Ming was disturbing her, she was a little impatient. I'll help you with my hands in a while. Don't disturb me. I'll sleep for a while. Yang Ming was speechless. He looked at Wang Xiaoyan, who closed her eyes instantly and fell asleep. He thought, this chick is really good. It's best not to be an enemy with her. Otherwise, I really can't do it. Yang Ming sighed and turned up the heater in the car. Wang Xiaoyan didn't wear clothes. Yang Ming was afraid that she would catch a cold, so he took his coat and covered both of them. He did this because he was also afraid that Wang Xiaoyan would be exposed. If it was seen by the people on the passing vehicles, it would be bad. It was just the relationship with Wang Xiaoyan. Yang Ming was a bit difficult to deal with. Looking at the little blood on his thigh, Yang Ming knew that Wang Xiaoyan didn't lie to him. It was indeed her first time with him. What did Wang Xiaoyan mean when she said that she could only be his lover for 4 years? Yang Ming shook his head. This chick has too many secrets. I rashly had a relationship with her. I really don't know if it's right or wrong. The current situation was that he could only take one step at a time. Yang Ming was even a little afraid. He was afraid that the organization behind Wang Xiaoyan would stand on the opposite side of him. However, from Wang Xiaoyan's attitude toward him, it seemed that she didn't know that the Black Widow organization was looking for trouble with him. Could it be that Wang Xiaoyan and the Black Widow organization have nothing to do with each other? At this time, it was late at night. Yang Ming didn't sleep well last night. In a daze, he hugged Wang Xiaoyan and fell asleep. Chen Afu rode the bicycle and looked behind him, fearing that Yang Ming would catch up. But fortunately, Yang Ming seemed to be delayed by something and did not continue to chase. Chen Afu's heart breathed a sigh of relief. It was all Elder Yu's fault for being too anxious. He insisted that Chen Afu get rid of the corpse at this juncture. Chen Afu knew that Elder Yu was powerful, and he didn't dare to disobey. When there was no Yang Ming behind him, he began to figure out how to complete Elder Yu's task. At the same time, in a secret room on the outskirts of Songjiang, Elder Yu was sitting on the side. On the main seat was a man with his face covered. He was the boss that Jing Xiaoping mentioned in Macau. Chapter 951. How is it going? The man with his face covered asked with a strange hoarse voice. The girl of the Lan family is very cunning. She is with her grandmother, that old thing. They are hidden very well. My people have searched Shenangjia, but they haven't found their whereabouts, said Elder Yu. How long has it been? Isn't your efficiency too low? The man with his face covered said with some displeasure. Don't talk to me in this tone. I'm not your subordinate. We are just in a cooperative relationship. Elder Yu was a little displeased to be accused by the man with his face covered. But I spent money. The man with his face covered snorted. Your original purpose was to get rid of the Lan family. I just provided you with a lot of money to get it done as soon as possible, but you are dragging it out. Don't ruin my big plan. You have a big plan to do, but we don't have a big plan, said Elder Yu. We are more anxious than you, but things have to be solved step by step. There must be a deadline, right? Asked the man with his face covered impatiently. When my sinister voodoo is mastered, it will be the Lan family's Memorial Day, said Elder Yu with a sneer. The man with his face covered waved his hand. He wasn't in the mood to listen to what Elder Yu said about sinister voodoo. He didn't understand these things. He just said, the money this time has been transferred to your account. I hope you don't just take the money without doing anything, otherwise, I'm not easy to mess with. Elder Yu naturally knew that the guy in front of him wasn't a good person. His schemes seemed to be bigger than his own. It could be said that the two people were now in the same boat, cooperating for similar purposes. The man with his face covered was his own god of fortune. How could Elder Yu annoy him? It was just that eliminating the girl of the Lawn family was indeed not a simple matter. Don't worry. Our organization will do our best. When Elder Yu heard that the money was in his account, his face suddenly showed a smile. Their economic sources were limited. Yun Guangdo betrayed the organization, making the organization's funds even more tight. Fortunately, the man with his face covered provided timely help and was responsible for the organization's expenses. The man with his face covered nodded, then he waved his hand and said, "Okay, you can go back. I hope my money is worth it." Although Elder Yu was very arrogant, he came to ask for money after all. How could he be too arrogant? He could only bow and scrape a little. He got up and left the room of the masked man. The masked man fell into deep thought. He didn't expect Yang Ming to be so lucky. He thought that he was just a reckless man with courage but no brains. However, it seemed that his plan was becoming more and more difficult to succeed. About 400 or 500 meters away from Yang Ming's BMW, a middle-aged man put on his wireless headphones again with a wry smile. The moaning sound of a man and a woman coming from it made him feel a little uncomfortable, so he took it off for a while. However, at this moment, there was no movement in the wireless earpiece. There was only the sound of two even breathing, one rough and one soft. It seemed that both of them were resting, but this also showed that Wang Xiaoyan was not in any danger. The middle-aged man was relieved. Popping his head out of a snow pile in the distance, the middle-aged man shook off the snow on his body and began to move his body. Just now, he had been lying in the snow pile, so he was almost frozen. He had almost become his own masterpiece, the tombstone. Previously, at the temple fair, after the first fight with Yang Ming, the middle-aged man paid attention to the identity of Yang Ming. After a careful investigation, he already had some ideas. The apprentice of the King of Assassins? A smile crossed the middle-aged man's mouth. It was very interesting. Sometimes the world was so wonderful. The young lady desperately rejected and resisted her fate. She even ran away from home. In the end, the result was still the same. However, this could not be said to be a good thing. The middle-aged man smiled and got up quickly. He left the foot of West Star Mountain like the wind and ran in the direction of the city. It was enough to have Yang Ming to protect Wang Xiaoyan, wasn't it? The middle-aged man was confident that he could beat Yang Ming in speed. In other aspects, he did not have the confidence to win. Moreover, he also heard about Yang Ming's special training a while ago. The current Yang Ming should be more difficult to deal with than before. Finally, he could have a good sleep. Unknowingly, the sky in the east had turned white. Yang Ming, who was very sensitive to light, also opened his eyes at this time. Wang Xiaoyan was still sleeping soundly. Yang Ming hesitated for a moment. He could not bear to disturb her. He quietly looked at her red face. After an unknown period of time, when the sky had become gray, Wang Xiaoyan woke up. She stretched lazily and opened her eyes. She was shocked to see Yang Ming looking at her with his eyes open. "You didn't sleep." "I slept, but I woke up." Yang Ming could not help but pinch Wang Xiaoyan's tender face, and then said, "I saw that you were sleeping soundly, so I didn't disturb you." "Oh." Wang Xiaoyan nodded. She was quite satisfied with Yang Ming's attitude at this time. Although she did not have a good impression of Yang Ming in her heart, but the previous bad impression did lessen a little. Perhaps because of the numbness of sleep, Wang Xiaoyan subconsciously twisted her body, but suddenly felt the firmness of Yang Ming's body. She was stunned. You didn't hold it in for the whole night, did you? What do you think?" Yang Ming was a little amused. You've been so hard, don't you feel uncomfortable? Wang Xiaoyan was surprised. Little Yen Yen, I thought you knew a lot. That was the morning erection, okay? Yang Ming explained with a wry smile. Oh, you're so annoying. Wang Xiaoyan suddenly woke up. She did see this situation in the book, but she did not remember it. You've slept enough. Why don't we do it again now? Yang Ming said with some excitement. Now? Wang Xiaoyan looked out of the car window and found that it was already morning, so she frowned and refused. What if someone sees it? I don't want it. Then what about me? Yang Ming pointed to his lower body. Then, let's talk about it when we go back. Wang Xiaoyan's face was red, and she was a little angry. She glared. You are a little too bad. You know that I can't beat you, but you still set me up. Are you satisfied now? Me? Yang Ming finally understood a sentence. What is called women are unreasonable. They can't be reasoned with. Yesterday, it was Wang Xiaoyan who yelled and wanted to compete with me. Today, it became me who set her up. Don't think that I will like you just because I did it with you. Wang Xiaoyan continued to add, I'm just fulfilling my promise. When I am powerful one day, I will kill you with my own hands. Oh, then I'll wait and see. Yang Ming smiled after listening and didn't take it seriously. Wang Xiaoyan sat up from Yang Ming's body and quickly put on her clothes. There was nothing strange before, but once she left Yang Ming's body, Wang Xiaoyan suddenly felt a sharp pain and frowned. What's wrong? Yang Ming saw it and asked quickly. Nothing. Wang Xiaoyan, who put on her clothes, restored her previous cold expression. She glanced at Yang Ming's lower body and said, Why don't you put away your disgusting thing? Be careful not to cut it off. The dagger that fell on the ground last night had returned to Wang Xiaoyan's hands at some unknown time. This little girl was currently playing with it. Yang Ming's heart was shocked, and he hurriedly put on his pants. My goodness, does this chick have a split personality? She was fine just now. Why did she turn hostile after putting on her clothes? Do you think I'm a stud horse? Do you just stop after doing it? Coward. Wang Xiaoyan put away the dagger disdainfully, and then she didn't forget to mock Yang Ming. I shouldn't have been soft-hearted yesterday. I should have stabbed you to death. Yang Ming said at the moment. Naturally, he didn't mean to stab with a knife. As for what to use, he believed that Wang Xiaoyan was very clear in her heart. Seeing that Wang Xiaoyan turned hostile, Yang Ming was a little annoyed. But you didn't. Wang Xiaoyan sneered. Yang Ming, I found that you have a weakness. That is, you are soft-hearted. Fuck. Yang Ming wanted to curse. His weakness was seen through by this chick. It depends on who. Yang Ming said coldly, I didn't kill you because I still haven't figured out some things. What do you want to figure out? Wang Xiaoyan was a bit baffled. What is your relationship with the Black Widow assassin group? Yang Ming asked suddenly. What? Wang Xiaoyan's expression changed in an instant, but she quickly returned to normal. However, it was only a moment, and it was also captured by Yang Ming. What Black Widow? What is that? Nothing. It is an assassin group. Yang Ming said faintly. However, he didn't expose Wang Xiaoyan's expression just now. He didn't want to push it too hard. He would let her know first, and the rest could be discussed later. What does that have to do with me? Wang Xiaoyan's expression was somewhat unnatural. Don't you think that your skills are very good? Yang Ming shrugged. This made me think of a profession. What profession? Wang Xiaoyan's heart moved. Assassin. Yang Ming said. Are you saying that I am an assassin? Wang Xiaoyan pretended to be stunned, then smiled and said, hee hee, you think too much, right? Are there assassins in this world? Then where did your gun come from? Asked Yang Ming. Gun. Wang Xiaoyan had forgotten this before. After Yang Ming reminded her, she remembered that her gun was still in Yang Ming's hands. Indeed, if she was just an ordinary person, how could she have a gun in her hand? Think about how to explain it. Yang Ming snorted and smiled. It is best to find a more convincing reason that can make me believe it after hearing it. Chapter 952. Let you believe it after listening to it. Wang Xiaoyan thought, even if I explain it to you, you definitely won't believe it. Then, what else do I have to explain? Wang Xiaoyan thought of this, and her stubbornness came up again. I won't explain it. What can you do to me? Yang Ming didn't expect this chick to be a rascal. It was really a headache, but there was no way. He could only sigh helplessly and said, well, I can't do anything to you. Seeing Yang Ming's helpless look, Wang Xiaoyan couldn't help but laugh. It turned out that the method to control Yang Ming was so simple. Why did I waste my strength to fight with him before? Indeed, Yang Ming was now tolerant of Wang Xiaoyan, but it was also because of the relationship with Wang Xiaoyan that Yang Ming would have tender feelings for her. He couldn't do anything about Wang Xiaoyan's unruly behavior. Then you tell me, how do you know that it is a pistol? How can your skill be so good? I will tell you my identity. Wang Xiaoyan threw out the conditions of the exchange. Now, she was not afraid of Yang Ming. Wang Xiaoyan found that she didn't have to be fierce to Yang Ming at all. As long as she was gentle and coquettish, Yang Ming couldn't do anything to her. Because I have seen a similar pistol, so I know that it is a pistol. Yang Ming replied. In fact, this was indeed the case. Yang Ming didn't lie. I don't believe it. However, Wang Xiaoyan didn't believe it. Then, how can you believe it? Yang Ming smiled and said, this time, I really didn't lie to you. What I said is true. Then, take out the evidence. Wang Xiaoyan said. Evidence. Yang Ming pretended to be hesitant. Wang Xiaoyan thought that Yang Ming couldn't find an excuse. She was secretly happy, but she saw Yang Ming take something out of his pocket and threw it to her. Is this considered evidence? Ah! Wang Xiaoyan took the thing that Yang Ming threw to her and was suddenly stunned. This was a lipstick-shaped pistol that was exactly the same as her pistol. How do you have it? Wang Xiaoyan asked in surprise. You gave it to me. Yang Ming smiled. I gave it to you. Wang Xiaoyan inexplicably played with the lipstick pistol that Yang Ming gave her. Suddenly, she said, this is mine. How can it be in your hands? This lipstick pistol had been with Wang Xiaoyan for a long time. Naturally, there were some marks on it that only she knew. Last time in Macau, it was taken away by Lu Lei. After Wang Xiaoyan returned to Songjiang, she could only order an identical one. However, at this time, Wang Xiaoyan still recognized her previous one. Okay, don't be surprised. I saved you in Macau. It's not a loss for you to repay me with your body. If it weren't for me, you would be dead now. Yang Ming said very plainly. Macau. You. Wang Xiaoyan's expression froze in an instant. She looked at Yang Ming incredulously. She recalled the incident in Macau and suddenly fell into contemplation. The person I met in Macau. Wait, no wonder when I talked to Yang Ming yesterday, I felt that his voice was a bit familiar, and his figure was also a bit familiar. It turns out. Thinking of this, Wang Xiaoyan was suddenly shocked. You are that Lu Lei. Little Yen Yen, you finally recognized me. It seems that I didn't save you in vain. Yang Ming smiled and admitted it. Yang Ming. Wang Xiaoyan was so angry that she jumped up from her seat and wanted to strangle Yang Ming's neck. You are a bad guy. You dare to lie to me. You know that I am not as good as you, but you still want to compete with me. Do you think that I, Wang Xiaoyan, am a fool who is easy to bully? Don't make trouble. I'm driving. Yang Ming pushed away Wang Xiaoyan, who was grabbing him, and smiled. I didn't lie to you. This is my secret. If I didn't sleep with you, do you think I would tell you? You piss me off. Wang Xiaoyan was so angry that she sat there unhappily. Since you know my identity, why are you still asking me? Are you doing it deliberately? I want to see if you have love for me. Sex without love is meaningless. Yang Ming began to talk nonsense. Love your head. Wang Xiaoyan said angrily, are you really that Lu Lei? But he doesn't look like you at all. Haven't you heard of the disguise technique? Yang Ming said, at that time, I was also going to do something. I couldn't reveal my identity. Wang Xiaoyan nodded. It was normal for people like her to need makeup sometimes, but she had to admit that Yang Ming's disguise technique was quite successful. She didn't doubt his authenticity at all. Then, are you also an assassin? Wang Xiaoyan didn't avoid anything. What they did in Macau, they were very clear in each other's hearts. There was no need to hide anything. However, Wang Xiaoyan suddenly felt that Yang Ming was not as bad as before. After all, the character of an assassin was changeable. The pervert Yang Ming that she saw before might not be his true character. Me? You can say yes, but you can also say no. Yang Ming did not admit nor deny it. His words were ambiguous, but Wang Xiaoyan couldn't find any flaws. Yang Ming also said in Macau that he did not belong to any organization. He belonged to the type of person who was a lone ranger. In other words, you haven't joined any organization yet. When Wang Xiaoyan saw Yang Ming's skill, she suddenly had the idea of recruiting him. If there was Yang Ming accompanying her to perform the mission, the success rate would definitely be very high. Wang Xiaoyan had seen Yang Ming's skill, and in her own organization, she might be the best. You asked me so many questions. Shouldn't it be my turn to ask you? Yang Ming did not answer Wang Xiaoyan's question this time, but asked, isn't this fair? You have slept with me. Can't you give in to me? After Wang Xiaoyan knew the true identity of Yang Ming, her heart relaxed a lot. Yang Ming is actually a kindred spirit with me. In this way, even if I become his mistress, I won't lose anything. Maybe my assassin group will gradually expand under the efforts of the two people and become the world's #1. At that time, maybe my father can change his mind, right? The purpose of Wang Xiaoyan's establishment of this assassin group was to make it strong and become the world's #1. Let my father take a look. In this way, her father would no longer ask her to marry a person she didn't know. However, with the passage of time, Wang Xiaoyan discovered how difficult it was to develop an assassin group to become strong. Although she had worked very hard, she was still not as good as those second-rate assassin groups in the world. There was no other reason. The overall strength was there. In the entire organization, she was the most powerful. She couldn't even take one move from Yang Ming. Not to mention the world's #1, she might not even be in the top 100. However, the appearance of Yang Ming gave Wang Xiaoyan hope again. Of course, this didn't mean that she had feelings for Yang Ming after Yang Ming slept with her once. It was just because Wang Xiaoyan had a rebellious temperament. She didn't want others to control her destiny. Although she couldn't say that she liked Yang Ming, and even thought that Yang Ming was a bit hateful. This person was much more realistic than the fiancé that she had never met, right? At least, she could see and touch him. Moreover, it wasn't arranged by others. Even if she was willing to accept the loss and have a relationship with him, it was also her own will. It had nothing to do with others. Therefore, Wang Xiaoyan felt that being with Yang Ming was better than being the apprentice fiancé of the King of Assassins. Of course, Yang Ming had the ability to make the assassin group stronger. Assassins worshipped the strong, and Wang Xiaoyan was no exception. Although she was quite critical of Yang Ming's lecherousness, Wang Xiaoyan had to admit that he was powerful. Wang Xiaoyan weighed the pros and cons and decided to gamble. She wanted to decide her own life, not let others arrange it for her. As for the relationship with Yang Ming, Wang Xiaoyan also thought about it. Lover is lover. Anyway, if Yang Ming really decided to help her, then she and he would become partners. It was normal to go on missions together and live together. It didn't matter if there was that relationship. I slept with you. It seems that you slept with me, right? Yang Ming said with a bitter smile, why don't I tell you after I really fuck you once? Why are you so indecent? Wang Xiaoyan raised her eyebrows. Yang Ming, do you have any idea of joining an assassin group? Me? Join an assassin group? Yang Ming thought about it secretly. He probably understood the meaning of Wang Xiaoyan. This chick may have the heart of appreciating talents. She wants me to join her organization. Ha, isn't this what I want to do? Chapter 953. Kung Fu. Yang Ming naturally wouldn't admit the origin of his Kung Fu. I practiced it myself. Practiced it yourself? How is it possible? Wang Xiaoyan obviously didn't believe it. How can you practice it so well? What you said is wrong. In the past, Zhang Wuji was also self-taught. Can't I be self-taught? Yang Ming said reasonably. Wang Xiaoyan said in her heart, how can it be the same? Do you think this is a wuxia novel? However, she also understood that some teachings were secrets. It was impossible to talk about it casually. Just like her own origin, she wouldn't easily reveal it to others. But it's okay to tell you. I accidentally saved an old man who was a peerless master by chance. He was grateful to me, so he taught me Kung Fu. Yang Ming saw that Wang Xiaoyan didn't believe it, so he continued to say, you also saw it. I was with Xiaoying before, and we met two hooligans. But at that time, my Kung Fu was still very bad. Even if I won, I was injured. Yang Ming didn't lie to Wang Xiaoyan. He did inadvertently save Fang Tian, which facilitated this coincidence. Wang Xiaoyan didn't believe Yang Ming's words, but there was no other way. However, his explanation was easier to believe. Wang Xiaoyan also doubted why Yang Ming was injured when he dealt with the two hooligans. At this moment, listening to Yang Ming's explanation, it was easier to believe. I will believe you for the time being, said Wang Xiaoyan. Should I talk about you? Yang Ming changed the high beam to low beam. The car had entered the city. Me? Well, I admit that I am a member of the Black Widow Assassin Organization, but how do you know about the existence of this organization? Wang Xiaoyan was not afraid that Yang Ming knew anything at the moment, because Yang Ming already knew enough. Last time in Macau, the two people were still in a cooperative relationship. Yang Ming was very clear about her identity. After Yang Ming listened to Wang Xiaoyan's straightforward words, he suddenly said, are you really from the Black Widow organization? The Black Widow Assassin Organization is not famous. Do I need to pretend to be one? Wang Xiaoyan said bitterly. From the beginning when she left home, she was full of confidence. She thought that she could turn her assassin group into the world's strongest, at least one of the top 2 organizations. But now, the Black Widow was still unknown. The last time she went to Macau was the first time Wang Xiaoyan to perform such a big mission. She thought it was a good opportunity for the organization's development, but she didn't expect it seemed to be involved in a conspiracy plot. If it weren't for Yang Ming's rescue, Wang Xiaoyan believed that it would have been difficult for her to get away by herself. Maybe she would have died there. Therefore, after knowing that the Lu Lei was Yang Ming, Wang Xiaoyan was not very resistant to having a relationship with Yang Ming. After all, he saved her. What is your position in the Black Widow assassin organization? Yang Ming frowned and asked. The Black Widow assassin organization was created by me. Wang Xiaoyan shook her head and said with some emotion, however, the overall strength is too weak. It is not worth mentioning at all. You created it. Yang Ming was shocked. He stopped the car on the side of the road, turned his head, and stared at Wang Xiaoyan. You mean, you are the highest person in charge of the Black Widow assassin organization? What's wrong? What's wrong? Seeing that Yang Ming's reaction was so strong, Wang Xiaoyan was somewhat inexplicable. Did you send someone to trouble me? Yang Ming stared at Wang Xiaoyan's eyes and asked. Did I send someone to trouble you? Isn't that the same as asking my people to die? Wang Xiaoyan said with some self-deprecation. Not recently, but there was before. Yang Ming didn't expect Wang Xiaoyan to be the highest person in charge of the Black Widow assassin organization. It saved a lot of trouble, and he could get the answer he wanted from her. Before. Wang Xiaoyan fell into deep thought. She suddenly thought of something and said, I remember. I didn't send someone to trouble you, but once, they went to perform a mission in a foreign country. At the airport, you reported that they had knives in their bags. The people below hated it and wanted to retaliate. Ah. This time it was Yang Ming's turn to be shocked. Is it that simple? Fuck. It's that time at the airport again. How much trouble did that little thing bring me? It seems that I was still young and frivolous. I didn't think about the consequences of doing things. Not only did I attract the assassins, but I also attracted the people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. It was just because I had nothing to do, so I used my special ability. Is it because of this? Yang Ming was somewhat incredulous. And, it's because of this. Later, I learned about this matter. Because of your relationship with Zhao Ying, I told them not to look for you. Wang Xiaoyan explained. Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded after listening. He thought that some powerful forces were targeting him, but he didn't expect it to be just because of a small misunderstanding. Well, I have told you everything. Wang Xiaoyan gritted her teeth and said, I still have a request. As long as you promise me, I will be your lover in the future. You can do whatever you want to me, do whatever I want to you. Yang Ming suddenly felt a little restless. Since Lan Ling left, Yang Ming hadn't played any tricks for a long time. Lin Jian belonged to the conservative type. Chen Mengyan belonged to the shy type. Although Xiao Qing was mature, she was also very traditional. Sun Jie. She was a little fox, but that girl was too difficult to conquer. Not to mention training, her heart might not be fully on him. As for Huang Lele, although she was also very bold, she was silly and pure. Yang Ming couldn't make her too lascivious. However, Wang Xiaoyan, this fierce girl, could be trained more. Therefore, when Wang Xiaoyan threw out this tempting request, Yang Ming was moved. He was really moved, and he was very moved. However, Yang Ming wasn't hot-headed enough to directly agree. This girl wasn't a fool. The prerequisite was there. Yang Ming decided to listen to her conditions first. What is the request? Tell me. But, do whatever I want to you. If you promise me, then it's up to you. Wang Xiaoyan's face was slightly red. She clenched her teeth and said, I want you to join my assassin organization and be my partner. Join your assassin organization. Yang Ming didn't expect Wang Xiaoyan to make this request. Previously, Yang Ming also wanted to join this organization. The purpose was to find out why someone targeted him before. Because Yang Ming suspected that someone hired the Black Widow assassin organization to deal with him. He wanted to find the person behind the scenes, but he didn't expect things to be complicated by him. The reason why the Black Widow found him to deal with him was just because of a small conflict that he inadvertently had. After knowing the truth of the matter, Yang Ming didn't need to join the Black Widow assassin organization. However, at this moment, Wang Xiaoyan's proposal was indeed very tempting. Moreover, the two of them were in the same field. They should have more common topics. Yang Ming sometimes felt that he was very lonely. The identity of an assassin couldn't be shared with anyone except Fang Tian. Even Suya only knew a little and didn't understand everything. With his own woman, he couldn't share the secret. This made Yang Ming very uncomfortable. However, the appearance of Wang Xiaoyan just solved this problem. Some things that couldn't be said to Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun could be said to Wang Xiaoyan. It just so happened that he also lacked experience. It was good to join the Black Widow assassin organization to gain experience. Yang Ming hesitated for a moment, and then he made a decision. I can join your organization, but I am a person with principles. Although I have killed many people, these people basically deserve to die. So, when I accept the mission, I have the right to choose whether to do it or not. Okay, deal. After Wang Xiaoyan heard it, she agreed without thinking. Then she smiled and reached out to Yang Ming. Welcome to join. Yang Ming was stunned as he reached out and shook hands with Wang Xiaoyan. He grabbed her soft and boneless little hand, and he felt a little itchy in his heart. However, Yang Ming at the moment was somewhat incomprehensible to Wang Xiaoyan's straightforwardness. Just like that, it's a deal. You don't want to consider my request. Your principles are similar to mine, so I don't need to consider these. Wang Xiaoyan smiled. Moreover, we are partners. If you don't want to perform the mission, can I force you? Really? Yang Ming smiled after listening. Maybe in these few contacts, you can probably understand my character. I will never be soft-hearted to the wicked, but I really can't do it to innocent people. Wang Xiaoyan nodded and remembered Yang Ming's behavior when he was in Macau. It was really in line with this sentence. Just now, when she was fighting with Yang Ming, how was he the guy in Macau who killed without blinking an eye? Wang Xiaoyan asked herself that she couldn't do other arrangements step by step with a blank expression after killing people with a gun. Yang Ming was like this, but he treated her a little differently. She had angered Yang Ming several times. Except for having sex with her, Yang Ming did not do anything else to her. Moreover, it was said that Yang Ming had sex with her, but it was better to say that both of them were pushing each other. I wish us a pleasant cooperation. Wang Xiaoyan said with a smile. The previous hazy mood was swept away, and the resentment toward Yang Ming disappeared without a trace. Wang Xiaoyan was suddenly full of hope for her future life. If Yang Ming could help her make the Black Widow assassin group stronger, it would not be a bad thing. Let's practice more in bed first. Partners need a good tacit understanding. I think we can cultivate our tacit understanding in bed. Yang Ming said with a smile. Why are you so annoying? Wang Xiaoyan's face was slightly red, but it was undeniable that this was the best way to improve the relationship between the two. Are you hungry? Do you want to find a place to eat something? After a busy night, it was time to eat breakfast. Chapter 954. Now that you mention it, I am really hungry. Wang Xiaoyan nodded. I will take you to eat something delicious. Yang Ming smiled and said mysteriously. What is it? Wang Xiaoyan asked, is it something disgusting like stinky tofu? If so, I will kill you. Of course not. Yang Ming was stunned. I don't eat that thing. I will take you to eat Anhui beef plate noodles. Ah. Wang Xiaoyan immediately said after listening, is it the one that you and Sister Zhaoying went to? How do you know? Yang Ming was a bit baffled. Sister Zhaoying told me. She said that the noodles there were delicious. I wanted to eat there, but I didn't have a chance, so I delayed it. Wang Xiaoyan said. Yang Ming nodded after listening. The noodles at this restaurant are indeed authentic. I haven't eaten it since then. Okay, then let's go. Wang Xiaoyan touched her lower abdomen and said, I am starving. The identities of the two were revealed, and there were fewer barriers. They had become partners. Wang Xiaoyan was too lazy to blow her eyebrows and glare at Yang Ming. Inadvertently, she restored her cute and overbearing side. However, Wang Xiaoyan didn't think that she would fall in love with Yang Ming. Lovers didn't have to have love. Yang Ming needed her as a lover, and she needed Yang Ming to help her revitalize the assassin group. This deal seemed to be relatively fair. At least, there was no loss. As for what to do in the future, they could only take one step at a time. He hadn't come to the snack street behind the school for a long time. Yang Ming couldn't help but think of the memories of high school. Li Dagong was doing well now. According to him, he had learned almost everything he needed to learn. He was waiting for Ho Xinhan's company to start, and then he would jump ship. It was just that Su Peng was in a more miserable state. Yang Ming left him some words last time. He didn't know how he thought about it, but he hadn't contacted him. Yang Ming decided to go to his place after breakfast. Qingji Anhui beef noodle. Wang Xiaoyan pointed at the signboard of a snack shop by the roadside and asked, is it here? Well, it's here. Yang Ming nodded, parked the car, and got off with Wang Xiaoyan. Welcome. Would you like some noodles? As soon as they entered the shop, they heard the owner's greeting. In the summer, they would open food stalls outside, and in the winter, they would move into the house. Boss, 2 bowls of beef noodle with eggs. Yang Ming instructed the boss with familiarity. Okay. The boss nodded. But why don't you two eat together in a big bowl? My small bowl here is very big. I'm afraid this girl can't finish it. Yang Ming broke into a sweat. Why does this boss recommend a big bowl every time we come here? He remembered that it was the same when he came with Zhaoying. Wang Xiaoyan suddenly blushed, but Wang Xiaoyan's appetite was really not very big, especially for breakfast. She didn't eat much. She thought about it and said, then, I'll get a big bowl. Wang Xiaoyan didn't think so much. In her opinion, she had kissed and hugged Yang Ming yesterday. There was nothing wrong with eating a bowl of noodles. Then, I'll get a big bowl. The boss smiled and went to prepare. After ordering the noodles, the two began to look for a seat. When they turned around, they saw an acquaintance that both of them knew. That person also happened to look up. The 3 pairs of eyes met, and each of them was a little surprised. Sister Zhaoying. Wang Xiaoyan called out first. Yan Yan, Yang Ming, why are you here? Zhaoying was also very puzzled. At this time, a person next to Zhaoying wasn't so natural. He didn't expect to meet Yang Ming, but at this moment, he couldn't leave even if he wanted to. He could only lower his head and eat the noodles, trying not to be discovered by Yang Ming. Wang Xiaoyan and I are neighbors. Our relationship is good, so I invited her to eat noodles. Yang Ming winked at Wang Xiaoyan, signaling her not to talk nonsense, and then said to Zhao Ying. You are neighbors. That's such a coincidence. Zhao Ying didn't think much and said, just in time. Come and eat together. It was breakfast time now, and there were no other empty seats here. Yang Ming also had the same intention when he saw Zhao Ying. Sister Ying, why are you here? Yang Ming asked curiously. I have to go to school early these days. I passed by here that day and ate some noodles. It was good, so I came here every day. Zhao Ying smiled and said, Yang Ming, the place you recommended is really good. Wang Xiaoyan sat next to Zhao Ying, and Yang Ming sat next to the person opposite Zhao Ying. He thought it was a stranger, but when he got closer, Yang Ming immediately recognized who this guy was. Yeah. Isn't this teacher Jin Gang? Yang Ming patted Jin Gang's shoulder vigorously. Jin Gang was eating noodles with his head down. When he was patted by Yang Ming, his shoulder hurt and he almost dropped the chopsticks in his hand. Since Yang Ming recognized him, Jin Gang couldn't pretend anymore. He looked up awkwardly and said, Isn't this Yang Ming? What a coincidence. Coincidence your mom. Yang Ming's face changed and shouted, You are pestering Sister Ying again. I met her by chance. Jin Gang said with a sad face. By chance. Yang Ming obviously didn't believe it. It was really a coincidence. Jin Gang quickly explained, When I came to eat noodles this morning, I saw Zhao Ying sitting here. I admit that I wanted to get close to her, so I sat here. But it was really a coincidence. Yang Ming, don't make it difficult for him. He is telling the truth. After all, they were colleagues. Zhao Ying didn't say anything bad about Jin Gang. Yang Ming nodded after listening. He said to Jin Gang, Okay, get out of here after you finish eating. You still owe me a bicycle. Jin Gang had an urge to cry. Why do you still ask me for a bicycle? However, he didn't dare to refute. Yang Ming was glaring at him from behind. He quickly put the noodles into his mouth and accidentally stuffed a chili into it. It was so spicy that he coughed and tears came out of his eyes. Jin Gang wiped his tears. He didn't care about eating and fled. Wang Xiaoyan looked inexplicably. Yang Ming, how did that person offend you? This guy was the PE teacher in my high school. He was a pursuer of Sister Ying. When he saw that Sister Ying gave me a private tutoring class, he was upset. So, he found two punks to trick me and smash my bicycle. Yang Ming was angry when he thought about it. Motherfucker. That was my poorish day, and he even smashed my bicycle. Wang Xiaoyan listened and secretly clicked her tongue. After offending Yang Ming, can this person still sit here and eat noodles? It's a miracle. Wang Xiaoyan naturally didn't know that Yang Ming had nothing to do with assassins when he was in high school. My relationship with Yan Yan is very good. I wanted to find an opportunity to introduce you to each other. I didn't expect you to be familiar with each other before me, said Zhao Ying. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed. He didn't understand Zhao Ying's thoughts, but there were some misunderstandings. Chen Mengyan was very resistant to Zhao Ying. Although the relationship between Yang Ming and Zhao Ying was somewhat ambiguous, it was very difficult to go one step further. However, he had gotten Zhao Ying's good friend into bed first. This matter was a bit inappropriate no matter how he looked at it. As they were talking, the boss brought a large bowl of noodles and placed it between Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan. He said, Large bowl for 2 and egg noodles. Ah! Yang Ming was embarrassed immediately. How could I forget about this? This is fucked up. I didn't want to tell Zhao Ying about my relationship with Wang Xiaoyan, but now, even if I don't say it, Xiaoying must have noticed something. Sure enough, Xiaoying was stunned. She looked at the large bowl of noodles between Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan. Her face showed an incredible and somewhat sad expression. You guys. Xiaoying glanced at Yang Ming and looked at Wang Xiaoyan. She asked faintly. Xiaoying's heart was full of grievances at this time. She watched the beauties around Yang Ming increase one after another, but her relationship with him was still stagnant. Although the two people were closer than before because of the fake boyfriend and girlfriend matter, they hadn't seen each other for a long time. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. As he was about to explain, he felt Wang Xiaoyan kick him under the table, so he quickly shut his mouth. We? What we? What's wrong with us? Wang Xiaoyan picked up a pair of chopsticks and naturally picked up the noodles in the bowl to let the heat spread out, and then asked. You guys eat a bowl of noodles? Xiaoying hesitated and finally asked. Otherwise, she would always feel uncomfortable in her heart. Regardless of the current relationship between Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan, Xiaoying had to figure it out to feel at ease in her heart. Are you talking about this? Wang Xiaoyan showed an indifferent expression. I can't eat a small bowl, and Yang Ming can't eat a small bowl, so we asked for a big bowl. I will eat a few bites first, and then I will give it to him. Ah. Xiaoying didn't expect Wang Xiaoyan to explain this, but this explanation sounded acceptable. However, wouldn't Yang Ming dislike the leftovers? Sistering, in fact, Wang Xiaoyan has this character. She is careless. I am used to it. Yang Ming knew that Wang Xiaoyan was helping him cover up. So he pretended to be helpless and smiled bitterly. I am used to it. As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Ming felt that his foot was stepped on again. He didn't have to think about it. It must be little girl Wang. Xiaoying listened to Yang Ming and nodded. She was relieved. Indeed, when I lived with Wang Xiaoyan at that time, this girl also had this careless character. Otherwise, she wouldn't run out to open the door for Yang Ming and me in a small singlet. Wang Xiaoyan ate a few bites of noodles and then pushed the bowl to Yang Ming. She said, You eat. I am full. It is delicious, but it is so spicy. It is so spicy. As she spoke, she opened her mouth and fanned with her small hand. Yang Ming naturally wouldn't dislike her. He took the bowl and ate. The beef noodles, which were originally delicious, were a little tasteless. Yang Ming was full of apology to Xiaoying. He always felt that he was sorry for her, and his mood became a little depressed. Chapter 955. Although Xiaoying believed Wang Xiaoyan's explanation, she was still a little uncomfortable in her heart. She had never eaten a bowl of noodles with Yang Ming. Sitting here, she didn't know what to say next. So, she found an excuse and stood up. I have to go to school. You guys eat first. I'm in a hurry, do you want me to send you back later? Asked Yang Ming quickly. No need. I'm taking the subway. I have a monthly card. Xiaoying shook her head and made her expression look normal. I'm leaving first. You guys eat slowly. Sistering, it's fine. Wang Xiaoyan waved to Xiaoying and said. Xiaoying nodded and left the noodle restaurant. AI. Wang Xiaoyan sighed. She picked up the chopsticks from the table and reached for Yang Ming's bowl. Let me eat 2 more mouthfuls. Yeah, you, how can you eat so much? There are so many noodles. Why are there only so few left? Yang Ming pushed the bowl to the middle and said, Thank you for just now. Thank me for what? Wang Xiaoyan shook her head. Sistering likes you. I don't know what's so good about you. Sistering likes you. And you chase others so closely, but I don't see you chasing sistering. Who am I chasing so closely? Yang Ming sweated. He had always been playing hard to get. For example, me. Wang Xiaoyan said naturally. She didn't feel embarrassed at all. You. Yang Ming suddenly remembered what Wang Xiaoyan said yesterday. He suddenly didn't know whether to laugh or cry. In fact, that was really a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? You don't admit it. Wang Xiaoyan was somewhat disdainful. But it's up to you. It doesn't matter whether you admit it or not. She didn't care, but Yang Ming did. Yang Ming didn't want to be misunderstood by little girl Wang. The original thing was actually like this. Didn't you just drive Li Yixuan away that day? How do you know? Wang Xiaoyan thought about it and was suddenly stunned. She didn't understand how Yang Ming knew. The flowers were actually given to you by Li Yixuan. He couldn't give it to you, so he asked me to give it to you on his behalf. Those words were actually said by him. He asked me to repeat it. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Really? Wang Xiaoyan. Yang. I don't love. Humph, Yang Ming sneered in his heart. When you find out that you can't extricate yourself from love, you won't say that. But Yang Ming obviously wouldn't say much now. You're right, so do you think I still need to lie to you? Yang Ming shrugged. After that, you sent me flowers every day. Don't tell me you also sent them for Li Yixuan. Wang Xiaoyan sneered. Your name is written on it. Send flowers every day. And my name. No way, right? Yang Ming widened his eyes and looked at Wang Xiaoyan incredulously. Really? You didn't make a mistake, right? In your words, do I need to lie to you? Wang Xiaoyan replied to Yang Ming. Wait. Yang Ming suddenly thought of something. Motherfucker. That flower shop must be their doing. I ordered the flowers with Li Yixuan. Did they send the wrong flowers? Thinking of this, Yang Ming quickly told his guest to Wang Xiaoyan. Wang Xiaoyan listened to Yang Ming's explanation. It didn't seem to be a lie. She was a little confused. So, you didn't pursue me? Of course not. I just came back from Macau. I have a lot of things to solve. How can I pursue you? Yang Ming said helplessly. Damn. After Wang Xiaoyan listened to Yang Ming's words, she didn't know whether to cry or laugh. After a long time, it was a big mistake. The whole thing was a misunderstanding. I thought that Yang Ming pursued me. When I thought of what I said before, my face suddenly became a little hot. It's really shameful. However, on the other hand, the benefits were that Wang Xiaoyan had Yang Ming joining her, and she was full of confidence in her life. She felt that she could control her own life. Forget it. I will let you off easy. Thinking of the things that happened in the car with Yang Ming yesterday, Wang Xiaoyan said with a red face. Hee, but I found that I really like you now. Yang Ming said. Wang Xiaoyan rolled her eyes at Yang Ming. I really can't see through you. If I didn't experience it personally, I wouldn't associate you with the person in Macau. Does life need to be changeable? Aren't you the same? Yang Ming smiled and said, if I didn't see you in Macau, I would have thought that you were a delinquent girl. Who is a delinquent girl? Wang Xiaoyan heard Yang Ming say that she was a delinquent girl, and suddenly she was a little anxious. If you are not a delinquent girl, then why do you have a butterfly tattoo on your butt? Yang Ming asked. That is. This was a family secret. Wang Xiaoyan naturally wouldn't tell Yang Ming easily. That was tattooed by my family when I was young. It has nothing to do with me. Besides, how did you see it? It was so dark in the car yesterday. I have seen it before. Yang Ming thought, Wang Xiaoyan's family is perverted enough. They have nothing to do with tattoos for their children. You peeked at me. Wang Xiaoyan frowned. Peeking my ass. Once I went to Zhao Ying's house, you didn't wear pants. I saw it. Yang Ming said. Really? Wang Xiaoyan couldn't remember. She was always careless. After taking a shower, she often walked naked in the house, but that was also because there was only one girl in the house, Zhao Ying. There had never been a man. How would she know that Yang Ming would suddenly appear? As for when Yang Ming saw it, Wang Xiaoyan had no impression. Anyway, when Yang Ming came, her image was not good. Zhao Ying walked out of the noodle house, but she still couldn't let go of Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan. Even if Wang Xiaoyan explained it, Zhao Ying still felt uneasy. Zhao Ying hesitated for a moment but then turned and walked to the window of the noodle house. She hid and watched the scene in the noodle house. When she saw Wang Xiaoyan pick up the chopsticks to eat the noodles in Yang Ming's bowl after she left, and the scene of the two people teasing each other, Zhao Ying's heart broke in an instant, and tears fell uncontrollably. She couldn't help it anymore. She turned and walked away quickly, leaving only a trail of sparkling tears. There was no need to doubt anymore. The relationship between Wang Xiaoyan and Yang Ming was not as simple as they said. Zhao Ying was not a fool. She also knew Wang Xiaoyan's character. Although this girl was a little careless, she was a very picky and clean person. This could be seen from her bathing every day. And Wang Xiaoyan would definitely not eat the food that others had eaten. If Yang Ming didn't dislike her and ate her leftover noodles, it would make sense. But Wang Xiaoyan continued to eat Yang Ming's leftover noodles, which couldn't help but explain something. Zhao Ying had some resentment and some remorse. Why couldn't the relationship between Yang Ming and her be closer? Was it just because she was not proactive enough? But how could she take the initiative? She asked him to pretend to be her boyfriend, and there was occasionally a little ambiguity between the two of them. Wasn't that enough? Did she have to shamelessly chase after him every day? For a moment, Zhao Ying was a little confused. Her own happiness and her own love were all in a mess because of her hesitation on that summer's moonlit night. She thought that when her mother came to Songjiang, she could use the time when he pretended to be her boyfriend to take the relationship between the two of them further. Indeed, the relationship was closer than before, but it was far from the point of being intimate. Zhao Ying dragged her heavy steps and walked in the direction of the school. Her declining figure gradually went away. Last night, Wei Jin had sex with Sister Gu several times before he vented the anger in his heart. Zhou Ruoguang had left the resort. Wei Jin didn't know where he went, and Wei Jin was too lazy to care about him. This time, he wanted to avenge Zhou Ruoguang, but not only did he not get revenge, but he was also beaten to the bed and couldn't move. It was better that Zhou Ruoguang left, so that he wouldn't be embarrassed when he saw him. And Sister Gu, as Zhou Ruoguang expected before, did not say anything about being raped by Zhou Ruoguang. Because Sister Gu also understood Wei Jin's temperament. If Wei Jin knew about this, he would definitely not spoil her as much as he did now. Sister Gu was not a fool, and she was not a pure girl. This kind of thing was nothing. In the Immortal Resort, in another room, Wei Dikang's face was gloomy. Sitting next to him was the general manager of the Immortal Resort, Sui Yuemin. Yang Ming, do you know the background of this kid? Wei Dikang asked Sui Yuemin. I'm sending someone to investigate, but there is no reply yet. Sui Yuemin said carefully. After all, Wei Jin had an accident at his Immortal Resort. He couldn't say that he had no responsibility at all. Moreover, the future decoration and maintenance of the immortal resort depended on Wei Dikang. He was naturally very respectful at this moment and didn't dare to have the slightest neglect. "Humph, how dare you hit my son?" Wei Dikang said in a cold voice, "No matter who it is, I want him to pay the price in blood." "Yes, President Wei, but this Yang Ming seems to know Brother Long." Sui Yuemin had to remind Wei Dikang. "Brother Long? Which Brother Long?" Wei Dikang asked. "It's Tian Long from Donghai." Sui Yuemin explained. "Tian Long? Humph, that's in Donghai. Songjiang isn't a place for him to speak." Wei Dikang said disapprovingly. In the past few years, he had relied on underworld means to start his business. His status had risen, and he no longer put many people in his eyes. He thought that he was already very badass in Songjiang. Sui Yuemin still wanted to say something, but he hesitated and closed his mouth again. Since Wei Dikang didn't care about Tian Long, why should I say more?